Good morning, good evening, all that kind of good stuff to everybody out there. Oh, my. Let's do a little audio test, make sure we're good. Make sure we are working here. Oh, I see everybody's jumping in there. All the common criminals. Oh, yeah. Good evening. All that kind of good stuff to everybody. All right. What's happening out there? Let's see. Mr. Josh D's in the house. He says, I am first today. Yes, you are. Renee Cruz is in there. What's going on? David, I'm going to say, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Volny. I'm sorry if I botched it up. He said, hey, what's going on, David? Mimi's in there. What's going on, Mimi? And John Beck's in there. What's going on, John? Let's make sure we don't move the screen up. That's not good. Crazy A's in there. Hey, Chris. What's going on there, Crazy A? Love matters. Yes, it actually does. Good to see you in there. Limey Watches in there. I said, hi, Chris. Hope all is well. It is. Samantha Morris is in there. Hello to you, Samantha. Let's see. Like I said, Josh D. Pete Ferrero's in there. Howdy, hello to Chris and everyone in the chat tonight. James Cragen, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris, and everyone tonight. Wild Mountain Bears in there. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. David Clark's in there. Hi, Chris. Hi, all. Poindexter's in there. What's going on, Poindexter? Matthias Wise is in there. Weiss. I'm sorry for not pronouncing it right. Any ideas for Hangout 100? Man, that's a good one. It's a good question. We'll have to try to figure that out. Phil C's in there. What's going on, Phil? Martin Penwright is in there. Custom Tailored One. What's going on there, Custom? Good to see you in there. Mike Knapp's in there. He says, hi. Hey, everybody. Hi, everybody. Let's see. Didn't want to make sure I didn't leave anybody out, so we're going to keep going down the line. Jesus is my King 68. Where are we going to be today, Chris? That's a good question. Well, lucky to even be here. Let's just put it that way. And I'll explain. Darryl Harrod, what's going on? Greetings from Colorado. Pat Morris is in there. What's going on, Pat? Grant McGowan's in the house. What's going on, Grant? Hello, Chris, and everyone in the house. It's good to be back. It's been a while for me. COVID has played its part. Yeah, believe me, Grant. I feel you on that one. Jerry Lahane's in there. Orbiting Mars now, so we will see Martians freak out when another rover lands in a week. Invasion. You're right about that. You are right, Mr. Jerry. David Clark's in there. Let's see. Les Sweet's in there. What's going on to Les Sweet? Bush Corey's in there. What's going on, Bush? Mr. Bush Corey himself. Awake Soul's in there. What's up? Good to see you in there. Goddess Wonder Woman says, can Mars be a reflection of Earth? Thus, Earth is in a crater on Earth Mars. Great question. Let me see here. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't forget anybody here because everybody just starts jumping in. Let's see here. Tony P's in there. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Scratch, what's happening? He said, hi, James. Talking to James. John Sharp's in there. CCMY Harley's in there. My Harley D. What's going on? Yeah, Mimi, you can send it to me. He said, Chris, have you seen the latest Perseverance NASA press conference? During the live stream, they showed pictures of Jezero Crater. I took a screenshot of it. Can I send it to you? Yeah, you can send it to my marsanomalies@aol.com. My kids laugh at me. They go, you're still using AOL? I said, it's an email, isn't it? What difference does it make if it's, humptydumpty.com? What difference does it make? I mean, come on. I thought that was actually amusing, though. Let's see. Oh, man, I haven't even... Oh, here I am. I forgot to put that on for you guys to scare everybody out there. Let's see. Clerks 93, what's going on? Yo. Ann Cooper, hi. Hello, Ann. How are you? Phil C. said, I'm concerned the NASA probe will crash this time. I hope not. Just had a bad feeling on this one. Yeah, it may not be actually, the rover. It should be fine. I think everybody more worries about the actual ingenuity, the little helicopter more than anything, or, call it what you will. Helicopter, drone, call it what you will. Yeah. I think I'm more worried about it than I am of than the actual rover itself. Odds and Crafts, what's going on? He said, yo, everyone, I'm making dinner, so I'm listening now. Sorry I'm late. Sending love to everyone. Can't type right now, but hello, Chris, and Mars and Amelie's family. Well, I was late to Odds and Crafts, so I guess, I guess I'll need a hall pass, but, yeah. Oh, it's all good. Pete, you said here Mars having earthquakes and in changing rotation speed. I heard somebody said something about that. I didn't read that myself, so I can't say yay or nay or be for certain. But I heard somebody mention that. I don't know if it was in one of the comments or what it was, but let's see. So we'll have to see there. Guys, funny story. I don't know about you guys, but my week has been crap. Right from Wednesday to today. Keep in mind, I'm like one of three people that it's like basically stocked the whole grocery store chain. Well, not the whole chain, but this particular store. And, a lot of my neighbors will know this because there's some right here in WV or West Virginia. And we have Ohio and Kentucky as well. And ice storm, snow, you name it, right? So, fortunately, I don't live in a mountain, which is good. But these other two guys that I do work with do. So guess what? So I was left doing all the work, unloading the trucks, doing it all, let all the other vendors in, do the work in here, and unload it, put it all on the shelves. Wasn't a happy camper. Now, I'm not insensitive to them not wanting to travel because I don't care what job you work for. They don't pay you enough to kill yourself. So on the other side of the token, you got to think of your situation like, yeah, I'm the one like holding the bag here. I got to do it all. So I wasn't very thrilled. In fact, I was just actually, the more I thought about it, the more infuriated I became. But I said, you know what? Hey, look at it this way. You can put in some extra hours. I work like 2.4 miles away. So I'm thankful for that. I don't choose to live on mountains because in case there's ever an emergency, how are these people going to get to you? Ambulatory, police, whatever it may be, right? So it's better to live closer to work. The closer the better. So again, then they were a no-show again today. So I had to, finish up what wasn't done yesterday. So yeah, I wasn't very happy about that. So the weather's been insane here. I don't care if it's 3 inches of snow, but if you got ice, like a quarter inch to half of ice, an inch of ice on the ground, it doesn't make it any easier. So then we had power outages everywhere. We've been fortunate it hasn't happened here, but right up to 3:45 my time, lights were literally flickering on, off, literally went off, on, off, on. I'm like, oh, here we go. But thankfully, I run 2 computers. And thanks to you guys, your donations and everything else, and the support of the channel, monetarily, I was able to, I get battery backup. So if the power went out right now, I could shut the other computer off. It'd give me about another hour and 10 minutes watch time. Which is cool. So I would still stay running. My internet's still running. That's on battery backup as well. Now, if some 18-wheeler drove over a pole and knocked everything out, yeah, it'd be dead in the water here. But if it's just simple outage, like the power line and phone lines and everything still stay up and, fiber optics, all that other good stuff, we'd still stay on. We'd be good. So a lot better chance of me staying on the air. Now, like I said, this was only an hour and a half ago. Literally, the lights are flickering on and off. So, yeah, it's been a very interesting half of the week up to this point. So, and the thing is, the reason why I got on late is because I literally just finished a video that I wanted to get out Wednesday. So it just goes to show you that it's been insane. This one here, you guys are going to love. It's another video about Antarctica. And some of the crazy things you're going to see in that photo. It was actually suggested to me to actually have a look at this, and I did. So, thankful, I was able to get that done. I literally just getting it done. I think I got something to drink here, and I sat down and I started. So I think I got on 8 past the hour. So yeah, it's always a lot of fun. It's been crazy here to do anything. So, forgive me, guys, for getting a little bit late. But, yeah. Colleen Bonds, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. He said, glad you are back. Me too. Like I said, it was busy last week. I probably should have just made it this week, as crazy as it's been. I swear to God, guys, I'd love to win the lottery because I'd be just like, boss, I'd like to give you the 2 weeks, but I'm out. I'm see you later. Yeah, dude, you just get burnt out of this crap. You get to some point, and I know probably everybody's been in their job, probably felt that at one point or another, and you just go, man, if I could just win the lottery, I'd be so out of this place, I'd be done with it. I even told my wife, I said, if I made enough on these videos, I'd be out of here. I'd be, see ya. Wouldn't even think twice. I even said that more than once, but, I don't care to work. I've worked since I was like we used to do a lot of things for my mom's store, and I was like 7, 8 years old starting it, and I've been working ever since. So, yeah. I don't care to work, but when you're the only one doing it, and it's just a bunch of crap. It's yeah. No, let's see. Let me see. Oh, you guys are talking amongst yourselves right here. Maybe. He said, yeah, Chris, during the NASA press conference, they talked about stones and sand nonstop. And it was like, yeah, stones. I know. It's kind of like I was watching a show. Who was he on with? He's on with Joe Rogan. Elon Musk was on there. I don't know if you guys have seen the latest one. Go check out the latest one. You literally wanted to literally scream at the screen and say, oh, Elon, stop it. He's like, well, I don't believe there's aliens. If they were, they're really, kind of cool and laid back, and we use some other names for it and other things. And I'm like, are you seriously telling me, you're so spacefaring, but you don't even believe there's a possibility? Now, some people will say, well, it's not that he doesn't believe them. He just believes there's no real proof as of yet as to him. And, of course, Joe was saying, what about the Tic Tac UFO? And what about this? He kind of rolled his eyes like almost like I knew that, but it's old hats and it's like very minuscule compared to what I know kind of attitude. If you just watch his reaction to it, it's hilarious. And you just literally just want to go up there and go whoosh, and slap right in the face. Go, stop it. Come on, man. Tell the truth. What's going on? What's really going on up there? And, who knows? It may be that kind of thing where he says, well, as soon as we become spacefaring, what was it? Was it Star Trek, the movie, First Contact, I think it was called? Where they were building their first spacecraft and they had a deadline to meet, and if they didn't, they wouldn't, meet these other aliens out there and actually have contact with them. And it's kind of like, almost like that thing, that kind of weird feeling you get what we're doing. The more we can get out and actually be spacefaring, meaning people ourselves and not machines, that, maybe there's a chance. But for him to say, I don't, oh, come on. He's got to know a lot more than what he's saying. And he's kind of just playing it down like, not really. I don't really believe in it. I believe there may be aliens out there. There's no real proof for him yet. And he's like, what? What about the Tic Tac UFO? What about this? What about that? He just kind of looked at it like, really? No big deal. Oh, wow. Unreal. Yeah, Jesus is my king. He said, yeah, he doesn't believe in local aliens. Well, the thing is, the way he just played it down, like, he didn't believe in that crap. I think he believes that there are civilizations out there. But as far as like I haven't seen any proof yet. Well, unless one lands on the lawn of the, any capital of the world or, whatever, main street of any country, then he won't believe it. And a lot of people don't either. But, like I said, even he can't be that close-minded. He's got to know, even out of all of the vastness that we live in, there's no way we can be the only civilization out there. Come on, Martin Penright says, we love stone and sand. Yeah, we love it. Yes, Colleen Barnes does rock. Again, thank you, Colleen, for your support. I do appreciate you. Mars the second generous. Genesis, not generous, but that's cool too. Hi there. How are you? I'm doing fine. I hope you're doing well. Like I said, it's been really busy latter part of the week here. Well, middle to latter part. Like I said, it's been absolutely insane. But yeah, we'll get through it. It's all good. What's going on, Six? Good to see you in there. All right, let me see. All right, I just want to make sure that's working. Let me see what that said here. Jerry, you said, I figured out Mars polar caps do not migrate from average much seasonally due to magic 8-ball effect. Mars being mostly black, heat absorbing under thin layers of duct keeps ice caps in check. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about all that. I mean, I know it does change in size just like it does here on Earth. Now, according to NASA, Mars doesn't seem to get as much sun. But if it has a lack of atmosphere that they claim, then I would think it would get the equivalent of the same amount of sun. Now, it may be smaller in the sky, but that doesn't mean it's not getting the heat. Because it's like, if you were to take away our atmosphere right now, first of all, sort of radiation would cook us, or at least we have a real bad day, and it would definitely warm this planet like greatly, right? Unless, of course, at night, nothing to keep the heat in, of course, it would just instantly escape, kind of like what's going on Mars right now. So, but if you were to go to Mars, which is much further away than Earth, but then strip away its atmosphere like they claim, then it should get almost the equivalent of heat or at least sunlight, I think. You guys can give me your take on that. Again, it'll be a little bit smaller in the sky, but it doesn't mean a lot less heat if there is no atmosphere to filter it out. Now, again, at night, it's kind of like, winter time when you have cloud cover. It's kind of like the clouds hang around. You got that radiational cooling. Well, it kind of slows that because of the clouds itself. Now, once the clouds clear, what happens? The skies get clear, the temperatures drop like a rock. So it's kind of the same thing in an atmosphere. It'll hold it in. But what happens when you don't have that? Well, it cools almost instantly or pretty darn quick, right? So I believe, at least based on the Hubble photos of Mars in every season, it does actually shrink and grow and everything else with seasons just like here on Earth. So either way, it is actually H2O as well as carbon ice too. So at first they said, nah, there's no water there. And I said, oh, bull. It's not just pressure that puts an ice cap. It's also, vapor, condensation, water, So, yeah. And Cooper, the question is, any silver on Mars? That's a great question. It makes you wonder if they're up there for much more than that. We know, at least what we gathered in these photos, my opinion is they're up in a recon mission. They're up there basically browsing through or looking through a devastated, civilization that once lived on Mars. They had a very cataclysmic event to actually take away the atmosphere. And, but... so they're literally going through like what might be just debris and everything else what's left of the civilization. Now, is there precious metals on there? Could very well be. We don't know. They're not saying anything that we found like a plethora of whatever. But you can bet if it's there, they found it because they got ground penetrating radar. They've got, thermal cameras. You name it, they've got it. So if it's there, they know it's there. We'll just use the last two. King 68, you said, been working since I was 14. I hear you. Ever since I was a child, my body's going, please stop. Enough is enough. Let's see. Josh, you said today, article regular scientists now saying that Mars had a thick atmosphere for 400 million years. Again, if we put the pieces together, knowing that there was those 2 nuclear explosions on Mars, and it was like, in the atmosphere, lower atmosphere. And I think that's what caused a great catastrophe. I think that's what ended life on that planet. But that was only in 1941, roughly 1941. And it kind of explains why we're seeing the objects that are still there. So let's suppose I'm wrong, and the puzzle piece is wrong, and that these structures have been there for millions of years. Would there still be anything left? It's kind of like here. If life was to end here right now, and our atmosphere was stripped away, and we had I'm going to say wind and just the sandstorms and cold, extreme hot, so on and so forth, back and forth. Would there be anything of any value millions of years ago? Would there be anything here left on this planet? I don't think there would be. I think it would be completely dust. I think it would be completely, and everything you see would be like rounded off from like the sand blowing, like a giant sand blaster, right? It'd be all rounded off, and it'd be like, you wouldn't recognize anything on Earth if it was millions of years ago that it happened. There's no way. So I don't believe that's the case. I believe, at least in my opinion, I believe that it was much sooner or much more recent that life ended on that planet, only because of what we're seeing now in these photos. Now, as far as what we're seeing on the moon, that's a whole different story because it really wasn't a planet, right? It does have moisture on there, but as far as it does get direct sunlight. Of course, there's no there's no atmosphere to filter it out, so it gets very hot during the day and very, very cold during at night. Or when I say cold and when I say day and night, it's meaning the way the sun hits it as it goes around our planet. But I mean, you can understand if there's anything on that planet, there's no wind there. So on that moon, I should say, not planet, on the moon itself, things could be there for millions of years and still be fine. Especially if it was made out of a certain metal, even with moisture around, it's not going to do anything to the metal itself. So, yeah, big difference in the difference between them as far as the moon and Mars, right? Dave Haverly, what's going on? Good to see you in there, and I do envy you, sir. You said, hi, Chris, I'm 58 now. I've got about 10 days until I retire. Woo, yoo-hoo! Buddy, again, I envy you, and good for you. If you've busted your hump all these years, good for you. You deserve it. Marcus Peters, what's going on? He said, good morning, Chris, and everyone. Greetings from very hot South Africa. Man, I wish I was there. Most people would say, no, you don't want to be there. But a lot of it's like Arizona, right? It's a dry heat. Not that makes it any easier, but you can have 114 degrees. It might feel like 85, 90, you know what I mean, with the humidity here. So it's really not as bad as people think. Now, I still would like a lot. Right now we're 30 degrees, and they said it was supposed to hit 37. Ain't going to happen. So there's some melting, very little. Said it was supposed to be 37. It was only 30 today. I think maybe 32 I think it reached. So very little at all. So, yeah. Luke the Duke says, hey, hear you. My friend and I just had a similar discussion. We never look forward to going to work, but we have to do it. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's all about, the greenbacks, you know what I'm saying? And I don't really care to work. It doesn't, it's been, I've been like working since, like I said, I fell out of the womb. But that's beside the point. The thing is, it's like, at some point, and especially the job, when there's a lot of people out there that just don't care. They're like, oh, whatever. But if you take pride in your work, it's like, listen, when you do the kind of work you do, you're actually, helping out the potential customers that come to the store, whatever it is that you're selling. You bring it out, they buy it, everybody prospers because they buy, the store thrives, so on and so forth. Whatever you work for, it doesn't really matter. But you take some pride in it. Most people are like, whatever. I mean? It's like, I'm the same way. I mean, at my age, I'm getting there to the point I just don't care. I just don't want to work it anymore either. But, like I said, it is what it is. And, I think the last storm we had when I left the state I lived in was like 30 inches of snow. When I had my Blazer, I just automatic forward drive, go. Just drove. Didn't shovel, didn't do a thing. Drove it, loved it. I still love snow. I think I'm more worried about the people on the road with me than I am the actual snow and ice. But it's all about just taking it easy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I gotta. Maybe I agree with you. You said Elon wearing a clown costume. Yeah, it's kind of like. Yeah, did you see the nose he had? But it's almost like, how can a guy that's so smart and be like, want to be spacefaring, want to be, it can't be. He's like really, really doubtful. At least in that video, that talk with Joe, it just seems bizarre. And it's like you could just see, kind of like looks away, and just his eye contact, right? He's like he's not really into the conversation. Like he goes, "Oh, I know better. I'm not going to tell you." It's like you can read his mind or his face. Just check it out. It's pretty interesting to say the least. Let me see. Pete says, I started working at 12 and never stopped till retirement. Yeah, I think I started, technically in the workforce at I was 15 years old. And but I've been working with my mom and everything else, and, the rest of the family. Like I was like 6, 7 years old. Whew, man. Like I said, your body gets beat up after a while, especially doing a lot of physical things. Oh, this thing just jumped on me. I hate it when it does this. No, David, I haven't seen that. He said, David Clark said, you all see that hologram, I guess, that they projected in the sky in Dubai. No, I don't think I've seen that. Well, blow, yo, UK, jokes really, but I do ponder such ideas. Well, yeah. MG Toe, what's going on? He says, thumbs up, everyone. Wham, hit it. John Shop says, -9 here. Yeah, they were saying the same thing it was supposed to be this Saturday morning, and they said it was supposed to be like 3 degrees, but they since, modified that so much. So instead of it being that, now it's like 25. It's like, because, they do have a UK model as well as, the United States model kind of thing going on. And, they're always conflicting and everything else. But you got to admit, it's like the only job you can work and just be wrong and still get paid good money. It's kind of funky how that works, huh? Pete, you said going down to 10 tonight in Buffalo. Oh, I believe that. He said my dad lives up there, and it's I've been there where he's had snow like you can't even see the top of your car. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Renee von Oosterhout, you said Chris hasn't watched the latest video yet. Sorry, I'm definitely going to do this in the weekend, but I've been real busy. Number one, Chris must now also fight against sleep. Yeah, I hate it when that happens. Like I said, I was like totally dead yesterday. I was just wrecked after I got out of work. I think I worked an additional 3 hours because, like I said, I was the only one there, flying solo basically. And I wasn't very happy. I even told my wife when I came, I said, what I'd love to have done had they been there was just like detach their head off their body. Because a buddy of mine said, what's wrong? I said, I sound like literally like I was possessed. I was like, because I'm pissed off. And he looked at me like, good Christ, what's going on over there? But, like I said, I don't care to work. It's when everybody else around you just, is that a snow flurry outside? I'm not going to work. I just don't care. Now, I do understand. Like I said, I'm not, insensitive. If you live on a giant mountain and you're coming onto ice, no. Like I said, they don't pay you enough. There's just no way around it. So, James Dixon, what's going on? You said late, but never got a notification from YouTube. Yeah, that's why I said if you're used to seeing videos, usually I try to get them out Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday-ish. And then, of course, we have the Friday evening hangout at 5. Then I would just kind of keep an eye on it because for some reason the notification, we're just not getting it. It's absolutely insane that we're not. And, it's like, oh, we'll just blacklist that channel because they're conspiracy theorists. Like I said, there's nothing conspiracy about backing it with claims, with factual claims. So that's the way I look at it. CCMI Harley D says in morning 3 degrees here in Missouri. Man, it was, like I said, it was supposed to be that way here, but yeah. David, it's like not even a tenth of an inch, of snow. I call out of work. I call out to work. Yeah, I mean, it's, if you kind of got the job where it's not like super, like you're super important to be there, they don't even care if you show up. They're just like, whatever. But literally, if you're the only one that works there and you're opening the place, letting other vendors in, you're doing this, you're doing that, turning everything on, doing the work, it's like, even my boss said, he's the only one who's here, guys. What's going on? He says, I don't care that you didn't come in early. I don't want to see anybody sacrifice their life to come in. But then come in a little bit later, 2 or 3 hours later, where the trucks have been out, plowed, salted, whatever. Make an effort, Let me see. Elaine Millard, what's going on? You said, I did get notified, but some weeks, others not. Yeah. Yep. Leslie Warren, you said, True Blue Flash. How do you, are you asking him, I guess? How do you not know the lady Einstein had a hand in it? Okay. Southeast Asia. Huh. Oh, I didn't even know Blue Flash was in there. What's going on, Blue Flash? Good to see you in there. Six, you said, question was, were you around to see winter of 1978, I believe? We had snow on roads that was plowed away from the, roadside that were plowed away from the roads. That was about 11 to 12 feet. It was crazy. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, at my house, they had the regular city buses that ran all the time. They were literally stuck there. And the only way they could get these people off with snowmobiles. We actually had front loaders, giant Caterpillar front loaders from Buffalo, New York come down because I lived in Rhode Island. We literally, I remember we all went out, all the kids went out, all our friends in the neighborhood, we went out. I remember walking up and down these snowbanks, and I literally slid down on my rear end, lost my traction, slid down, and I didn't realize I was on the actual windshield of a car. That's how much snow we had. Didn't even know it was there. And then the snowdrifts were insane. They were like up to the second floor and almost the third floor windows. Oh, yeah, I remember that well. Really well. Martin Penray, you said supposed to be warming up for the week, UK from Sunday. Well, we're getting another round of crap all this week coming up. So it's like Monday into Tuesday. Tuesday on my job is important. We get a truck that day, and Thursday and Saturday. So, so Monday, there we go again. The other two guys won't be in. I need a raise. I need a raise bad. Insane. Yeah, Jerry, I was the same way. You said, but snow last year was non-existent. Have never picked up a snow shovel but in December. Well, it's like us. The last few years, nothing. And if you did, it was like a 1-2 inches, and it was so... You didn't have to shovel anything. I mean, it was really... I literally just take out a broom and just do the stairs, and I was done. Maybe just dust off the car with it, and I was ready to go. But this year, it's been not super bad. I know a lot of other states have gotten hammered, so us, we have, but not as... these last few years prior to this was nothing. It was a joke, actually. Dave the Clock, he said, at least our thumbs down guy hasn't shown up yet. Oh, don't worry. They'll be here. Oh, thing jumped on me again. Equalizer, what's going on? He said, wasn't much coverage on the, I think that was the United Arab, what is it? I just had it again. Hold on. I actually have that on a tab, by the way. We'll look into that. The American, what is it? The Emirates Hope Probe. Yeah, I know that. It's just weird. And I actually saw that. And I think I looked at an article that was like a day or two after that. And they don't say much about it. I think it's just an orbiter, if I'm not mistaken, right? Equalizer? Is it? I think it's just the orbiter. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Renee, you said, but you live nearby the grocery company you work for. Yeah, true. But this was funny. I mean, I had a guy, these guys live, like I said, the other guys live on mountains. But our manager literally drives an hour from his house to here. That's why he was so infuriated. He's like, okay, guys, I get it. They all have four-wheel drives. No reason they can't. But as far as ice goes, I don't think I'd even trust that. Not coming down a mountain. Some of these things, if you see the way the mountains are, they're like literally like this. I mean, they're brutal. I wouldn't even attempt to do that. Snow, I would do it. 4 low, drop the transmission down to 1, take your sweet time coming down it, and, just tap the brakes when you had to, stuff like that. But, it's just like, it's easier for me. It's not bad, so I don't mind coming in. But you just like to have a few more people actually in there helping you out. You know what I'm saying? Dale, what's going on? Dale Rogers says, I just turned 58. Sweet. Oh, let's see what. They just jumped at me on something. Jerry said, I'm so lucky I have no social life. Haha, COVID vacation rather. Arthur Dagnes, you said, yo, from Brazil, joining up. First time on live, though. What do you think about the UFRGS on astronomy? What is going on here? Gotta love these calls. Have you upped your car insurance? It's just lapsed. You may want to get car insurance soon. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I got a 2011 car. Yeah, I'll do that right away. And of course the other one's a little bit newer, but it's like a 2014. But anyway, I'm not sure. Any particular question about that, Arthur? Or you just in general? By the way, welcome aboard. You said first time, you said from Brazil. Joining up. First time live, though. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Welcome aboard. John Shea, what's going on? You said, I thought it was, if it was, or really the military would have been using them already. Well, Long Island, New York, $13.95. What's up, Chris? What's going on? Long Island, good to see you in there. Dale Rogers, what up, Chris? What's up? What's going on, Dale? Blue Flash, yeah, that's a great statement. You said, without disclosure, we're kind of slowing down on scientific advancement. I think it's slowing the whole humanity down. You know what I mean? It's absolutely insane because, like I said, until we can become one, and like I said, we just look at each other like brothers and sisters and not he's black, he's white, he's Hispanic, and everything else, and not fighting over resources. And maybe it'll come a day, and I'm optimistic because I probably won't be around to see this, that at some point, all of the world will get together. All the world's leaders will say, "Why don't we just work for a common cause? We are the human race, and that we can all get together and strive for being, just healthier, just joining together to help the planet, help everybody out. So there is no richer, country or poorer country. Everybody's up there. Everybody's equal." That would be awesome. And then, maybe if there are alien races out there, and we believe that there are, that maybe they would say, hey, look, they actually got their crap together, and they actually acknowledge each other as human beings, just like everyone else on the planet. Imagine that. So, and they're working towards a common cause, but will we ever see that? Well, not if the government has anything to do with it. It'll be divide and conquer like they always do. So this way we're at each other's throat and you won't see what's going on in the background. So this is the reason why I try to overlook what's going on TV. Now, maybe my local forecast, I don't care to. But other than that, I just, I watch a movie, just, whatever. I try not to get into too much of that crap because it's just another way to sway you when I just want to just focus on what's really important to me. And what do you guys think? You ever see that? I know there's some of you guys that are younger. What do you guys think? You think you ever see that before you become compost or what? Nope. John Shea, you said not killing each other would be a start, Chris. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, what is most of the reason why people fight? First of all, that person's richer, I'm poorer. And, of course, they'll say, well, if you live in a predominantly poor area, you're going to be more violent. Now, there is some, statistically speaking, there is some truth to that. However, what happens if they were no longer, everybody was just on an even keel? What would happen then? You wouldn't be fighting amongst yourselves because you're all pretty much equal. This is the kind of mindset when you went to, like, a Catholic school. Everybody wore the same, all the girls wore the same dress, all the, and shirt and whatever, and the guys wore the slacks and the pants. Why? So even if you were poorer than the other, you didn't stand out. So that wasn't an issue. And that was, of course, that was just one of the reasons. But so I think if everybody was on the same keel, and every country just all got together and said, no, let's stop the starving. Let's stop it and let's work together as one. Let's get out there and do the thing we want to do. Let's be spacefaring. Let's have another planet. I don't care if it starts with Mars and other planets and so on and so forth. That's what even Elon talks about. That eventually even Mars will be a jump-off point to go to other planets in the solar system, and I truly believe that'll happen. But, I mean, at some point, we got to just wake up. Now, if it's going to be the governments that are going to have to handle that, because we are just, the best way to put it is like you're a product of your environment. Now, don't get me wrong, you can kind of seclude yourself from your environment. In other words, I'm just not going to pay no attention to negativity. I'm just going to go about my business, do the right thing, hang out with more positive people, so on. You can do all that, and that's great. But if you're stuck down, maybe you're low income, and there's nothing wrong with being low income. I know people that are low income, and I'll tell you what, they're, probably the most humble people I know. So there's good and bad, and I don't care what price, how much money you make. You know how that goes. But I think if the government start to work together, then the people will also do that. Because everybody else will prosper if the government actually got together. So it starts from the top and rolls down. You know how that works. And that's in anything in life. I don't care if it's your job or whatever. If it's crap, it starts from the top. It'll definitely roll down. You'll get it. That's all there is to it. That's one of the reasons, John. Yeah, religion causes war. That's just one of the things it does. Causes war, that's for sure. Goat Heart, what's happening? You said, hi there. Got here late, but hi, everyone. Oh, not a problem. Glad to see you in there, Goat Heart. Yeah, Long Island, New York, we had, you said the U.S. Navy has UFO patents. Anybody see that story? They can change the fabrics of physics, they say. Well, I mean, I actually had, we done a live feed or even a video about some patents of, anti-gravitics. And it's actually patented. And there's all different kinds of other craft and stuff like that's actually patents. I just put out there, U.S. patents for, put UFOs or aircraft or spacecraft, and some weird things will start to come up. Just crazy. Yeah, I've done that where, I don't know if it was on live feed. I might have done it on live feed. And then it was called, and then it was, I think I even had it on a video at one point, so yeah. Well, yeah, Equalizer. You said pure hatred and retaliation for previous wars breeds wars. Well, that's always said that here. Negativity breeds negativity. This is the reason why you'll see a lot of negative comments. They won't be there. People go, well, why do you hide the negative comments? Because negativity breeds negativity. So in other words, let's say you're new to the channel, and for some reason there's a lot of people that just didn't like it. I don't care about the thumbs down. I could care less. But when you're on there, let's say they watch like 1 minute of, I don't see what this guy's seeing. I'm just going to write a negative. So now you come over here, and the first thing you do is read the comments. What happens? You already have this crappy idea what the video is going to be like. Instead of actually looking at it or seeing it first, you just look at the comments first and you go, oh, okay. No. It's kind of like, and I don't know if I told you this, but my oldest daughter this was years ago, when the movie The Mist came out. And she said, yeah, my friend said it was stupid, this, that, and the other. I said, oh, okay, I haven't seen it. So I watched it, and this, of course, was years ago. And really great movie. I said, well, your friends are idiots. They probably don't understand the military and how they work, nor do they understand the science, so they thought it was bogus. She liked it, and so did I. But, of course, she's kind of a nerd like me, a chip off the old block. But if you guys have seen that movie, you're going to say, well, it's probably, majority would say it's a pretty good movie. Really, really cool. And so you'd never just look at the comments and assume the video is what everybody says it is, because not everybody, it may be somebody that just happened to come by and watch the video and said, I don't know what the heck this guy's even talking about. Well, you haven't been on the channel long enough to know even what it's all about. So you can't go by that. This is the reason why I can them. See ya. It's not because I'm afraid people, is going to see, negative comment. I could care less. There's always going to be negativity. That's just common sense. But as far as I'm concerned, it's like, I don't care. But like I said, negativity in anything in life breeds negativity. So just stay away from it. What's going on, Stig? Good to see you in there. Yeah, you agree too. Religion causes most fights. Well, I mean, yeah, you got three religions that are always at each other's throat. They're always fighting over one piece of land. And the list goes on and on and on. You know what I mean? So, and it's not just that causes wars. We know that. But again, the government will just, divide and conquer. Poor get poor, the rich get richer. And middle class kind of stays afloat and hope doesn't go either way. I mean, obviously you want to be richer, but you're hoping that you don't go the other way. I always say live within your means, Don't live a champagne lifestyle on a bare budget. Simple as that. Leslie Warren, you said I have great faith in beings and all beings, and I mean all beings, etc. Yeah, absolutely. I'm the kind of guy that says, listen, I don't care who you are, color, race, doesn't matter what it is. I don't care. You treat me with respect, I'm going to reciprocate. It's as simple as that. But because, you know what I mean? It's just words, basically. So it doesn't really matter what color they are or where they're from. It doesn't matter to me. Again, you treat me with respect, I'm going to do the same. And I don't go out and just I'm not going to talk to that guy because he's of a different nationality. I'm not doing it. No. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? No big deal. And that's pretty much it. But hey, you said the movie is, and I don't know if Arthur was actually finishing that. It said, it's so good. It's just right after it. Oops. He just jumped on me again. I'll be truthful with you. Forced disclosure 818. I haven't checked it. You said, hey Chris, keep up the good work. Do you check your Twitter often? I do jump on there probably maybe once a week. I haven't really been on there a whole lot, but I started getting on there because I started getting notifications. So I'm starting to check them out a little bit more. You said I sent you a few good clips from. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Forced disclosure. I'm not sure what you're talking about. You said a long time ago, Chris. You said, Chris, you're only 35. I wish. Talk about 19 years onto that. So, did I just say my age? Let me see. Matt Patterson, what's going on? He said, what's up, Chris? And everyone, happy snow day Friday. Oh, yeah. I wish I didn't have to go to work tomorrow. Steve Giles, he said, I love this show. I appreciate it there, Steven. What's up? What's going on there, Max K? I don't know if I said hello to you yet. Hope you're right, Chris, because this planet is doing my head in. Oh, my God. I definitely hear you on that. Well, blow yo says remove it because it can just get reactions and trigger into one stupid big mess. Everyone fighting over the comment. LOL, easily done, but easily rectified ahead of time. Well, then that's the thing. It's just I don't care that I've always said this. I don't care if people have a difference of opinion. That's never bothered me. It's like when they get belligerent and start talking stupid, and you're just like, I can't do it. Just or they just want to be argumentative over something dumb, and you're just like, okay. We'll start with this one here in a little bit. You guys can see this is the same guy that was talking about Amora, talking about that comment that came through. Astronomer AV Loeb says aliens have visited, and he's not kidding. And of course, his colleagues thought he was a little off his rocker. Yeah. So you can see the object discoverers dubbed it Oumuamua, a Hawaiian term that roughly translates to scout. But this is pretty interesting because they were talking about how there was really no tail on the end of this thing. So if it was, a lot of these comments and asteroids and stuff like that, a lot of comments will have a tail, because of once it slingshots around the sun, you get the melting of the ice and you get this plume of these ice particles and basically jetting out the back. And there was none of that on this. So they were trying to figure out what this thing was made out of, but it literally has a conversation. You can see it says, "Hi, AV, how are you? Indeed, the resemblance is uncanny, based on your productivity. I've never gotten the sense that you get a lot of sleep anyway." And they're going on and on and on. I take you're talking more about Amora. Yes, my message is that something is wrong with the scientific community today in terms of its health. Too many scientists are most likely motivated by ego. By getting honors and awards, by showing their colleagues how smart they are. They treat science as a monologue about themselves rather than a dialogue with nature. They build echo chambers using students and postdocs who repeat their mantras so that their voice will be louder and their image will be more promoted. So he's going on and on and on. So that's probably why they all kind of jump him, you know what I mean? Because they're thinking, there's a mental case thinking outside the box. Yeah, I know, God forbid, right? The thing to me is it's like, I like that. To me, this bubble of imaginary stuff is like being high on drugs. You can get high and imagine that you're wealthier than Elon Musk, who is now the richest person in the world. But, I mean, you can see right here, it says, marked with the blue circle, Oumuamua appears as a faint dot in the center of this image. In fact, I'll actually blow this page up a little bit more so you guys can see this a little better. Which is one of the best available and combines observations from multiple different telescopes. And it says, of course, it says credit ECO/K Meech ET whatever. But anyway, it was that small, and of course, it just got bigger. And of course, you can see the whole conversation. So I think it's back in the news, and he's really pressing on this. And he tried to analyze it. Okay, clearly it's not a comet because there is no tail at all to it. And I don't know, I think they were trying to find out I don't know if they were trying to shoot it with a radar, kind of like signal to try to get a bounce back to see what it was made out of. But you can imagine meteors of interstellar origin as well, and we can search for those, and he just goes on and on. Let me see if he talks about here. Pascal's wager. Really interesting. There are, of course, science fiction stories about aliens, and there are many unsubstantiated UFO reports. Now, suppose there was some literature about the magical properties of COVID-19 that had no bearing in reality. Would that mean scientists should never work on finding a vaccine to this pandemic? No. I don't see the search for technological signatures any differently from this search for the nature of dark matter. We have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in search for weakly interacting massive particles, a leading dark matter candidate, and so far those searches have failed. That does not mean that they were a waste. Going down dark alleys is part of the scientific process. So, yeah. The first sign of intelligent life beyond Earth, A.V. Loeb. Yeah, so you guys will get the link. It's a good read. I read this thing, and it's just like, pretty interesting stuff. James, thank you very much for your support, brother. I appreciate you. He said, Chris, I am being honest here tonight when I say that with all your great videos, photos, and clear evidence that's visible in them, I have no doubt that there is plenty of activity on the moon. Oh, yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, at first when you don't see anything on the moon, you're just like, okay, no big deal. But when you start to see more and more of these things on there that are clearly not a crater, a mountain, even they call them, lunar buttes kind of thing, and they literally look technologically built, then clearly there's something on the moon, and it's probably not ours, although it may be. Again, we talked about, we could have been, technologically advanced millions of years ago, and they're literally like, stopping us from seeing our past, civilizations or what were really our origin, so to speak. So, yeah, I believe that's the case anyway. But yeah, I mean, I believe this between there and the moon and Mars. Again, why would they stop there? I think there's much more even in our own solar system, and I think this is the reason why. If you notice, they're shooting spacecraft, orbiters, and everything else to every darn planet. I mean, they want to go to Titan. They want to, and again, they're going to send that like quadcopter thing, whatever they want to send over there. And one of them is actually going to dive into the ocean, and we got all kinds of things going on. Again, if I found something on the moon, and I was a scientist, and I got all kinds of money at my disposal, or I go to Congress and say, man, we got to do this, we got to strive to go out and, make up any BS plan so, they'll give them the money. Here's the thing. You see something on the moon, and it's not, and I said to people, and it's not yours, or hasn't been ours, and there's no way it could have been ours. Maybe they rule it out. I don't know how they can, but they rule it out. Then wait a minute, it's not ours. And then we see things that are going on in Antarctica. Okay, and then they see things on Earth, on Mars. I mean, it's just one thing. It's snowballing, and here's the thing: we are a part of something much larger. I've said that, and it's just, it's like a kid in a candy store. They got one piece, they just want to keep eating. It's the same thing with technology and just knowledge. You want to keep sucking this in, and whether it's just to gather, technology, or just the way they built things, different ideas, how their civilization lived and how it died. Again, I believe this solar system might have been like an old neighborhood. Maybe there's still life here. Maybe there isn't. And if it's just all there is remnants of civilizations, different civilizations that lived here, and now they're all gone, it might have just been like an area where they just came to a solar system, maybe, whatever it might have been. Whether they dug certain resources out of the different planets, at the moon, whatever it might have been, or they just lived here and they just said, okay, time to move on, and they did. I don't know. How do we know Mars wasn't like we're trying to do? We're trying to just like spread out to different planets, and they just jumped from Mars and went to another solar system when it was in a different position at one time, meaning a different place in our universe. We don't know. It's all the stuff that's being basically kept from the public. Mimi reacts. She said, I heard Oumuamua checked out if we have electric light. Oh, you mean the actual meteor itself? Well, I know that it was really weird the way they described it, because some articles say that it was tumbling slowly. So it slung shot around our sun, came through, and then went back out, okay? Kind of interesting how it does that. No plumes at all, no tail on this thing at all. It just in and back out. So they try to hit this thing with, with like radar and try to see what this thing's made out of. But like I said before, how do we know it's not some kind of craft and it's like made to look like a giant rock? And they just shut everything down, and this is the reason why it tumbled, and they figured that the gravitational pulls on these planets and the sun would slingshot them back out. How do we know? Or they have a different propulsion that made sure it was in that trajectory, so they can come in, check out everything. They had all the sensors going crazy, checking out everything, if there's life in the solar system, and went back out. We don't know. Pure speculation, of course. But like this scientist here believes there was much more to Oumuamua than just a simple meteor. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, exactly. Grant, you said Elon Musk reminds me of that guy Haddon in the movie Contact. Yeah. Yep. The way the way you talk to her. And even if they were here, they wouldn't have time. He's just kind of dogging her about it. Not good. Lee Herring, what's going on? Good to see you. He said, hey, all, just got home. It's freezing. Our next week we will be talking about new rover. Yes, we will be. And like I said, I'm going to try to put that on there. I'm going to try to actually put the live feed on here as well. Of course, they'll, probably get me for copyright, but I don't care. Because I'd love to have that on there so everybody else can see it. Because there's other outlets to look for it. But it's going to be interesting to see. Interesting theory. Woblo Yo-Yo, you said, what if, when we went to Mars long, long ago, we had kids, and after generations of this split of race became awful and attacked Earth, and we nuked them, but then created the Ice Age. That created Ice Age and reset our race. You know what? At this point, anything's possible. I mean, I even came up with the idea, and of course, it was pure speculation. I said, what if, because some people say that the Martians are not very big. But it doesn't really matter. Let's say they're average size like us. What if they didn't have a way to defend themselves? In other words, they had great technology. Maybe they still lived in these buttes and these hillsides, but they had technology, right? If they did, and we saw that there's no way to protect themselves, and maybe there are, very few of them on the planet, or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Let's say it was a booming race. Maybe they were dying off. Who knows? And we decided to send our own couple, warheads over there. One might have been like chock full of any kind of germ or virus we can find that would, basically kill us on the planet. We sent it over there. Plus a couple of nuclear blasts. Make sure we just finished the planet right off. But we didn't do it on the ground. We did it mid-air to make sure we can really go outward and really cover a lot of area to basically blow everything to pieces. We don't know. I mean, it's not like we haven't done that here on Earth. It's going to annihilate another country or, and then, of course, we build them because we're idiots. But that's beside the point. But the thing is, it's like, how do we know we didn't do that? Again, pure speculation, and it would be sad if we did do that. Leslie Warren, you said, I think they are still here. Well, I don't know if you meant still there, Chris, and visits a lot. I've known since 60s, Chris. I am out the closet being contacted since I was a child, and they cover up an incident in the 60s on an island military. Well, I've heard that many a times that people were either abducted or contacted or any of that sort. Now, some of these people, of course, are off the wall. But some of the people are absolutely, they've gave them tests, and they passed a polygraph with no problem at all. So if they're liars, they're good at it. They're really good at it. And I believe that's been happening, especially if you live in some of these remote places, like a lot of these parks, these state parks. People disappear out of those parks all the time. You guys have seen stories and watched videos of that. So that wouldn't surprise me in the least bit. Gold Heart, you said, I believe life is everywhere in the universe, and it is the biggest cover-up in history because we're not supposed to know. Yeah, it's like they're suppressing our origins, just everything about us, and I don't know why they would do this. It makes no sense, because if anything, wouldn't that not make you go, wow, that's cool that we're part of a galactic neighborhood, and, maybe we should look each other in a better way, and maybe we can continue on. Maybe we can just go more outward if we were more united. But again, alas, it's just our governments divide and conquer. So you'll never get there, right? What's going on, Alien Tenno? I didn't even see you slip in there. Forced disclosure, you said, have you noticed that the Oumuamua is almost identical to the ship Apollo 20 found on the moon that contained Mona Lisa being? That's true. It was a lot like that, wasn't it? It did actually look like that. I know it said Apollo 20 was fake, but it makes you wonder, is it really fake? According to them, you know how it went, it was only up to 17. Now, as I've said many a times, I don't think they ever stopped going. So it would not surprise me if there's 18, 19, 20, and further on. Or they just called it something different. Or they just said, oh, yeah, we just quit going, and that was the end of it. And, of course, they continue to go. You know, like I said, if I was up there on the moon and I was gathering all kinds of stuff on there, whether it be bits and pieces from a civilization that was either landed there, lived there, whatever it may be, I'm not going to stop going. In fact, I'm going to just plop down a house there, meaning a base, and I'm just going to just have a place I can go and continually bring the stuff back, study it, and try to reverse engineer it and do it right there on the moon instead of keep coming back and forth. And the only thing we can do is just maybe send supplies. And you can do that with a spacecraft, anything that's supposed to be, not known to the public, like one bird is like the SR-71, things like that are almost invisible to radar, and, you know, get a different propulsion on it. Say you go back and forth, drop off, you know, supplies, come back. Nobody's none the wiser. And, you know, with no lights on, no nothing, nobody will see you coming and going. It's perfect. And I don't think they've ever stopped. You know, like I said, I'm not going to, if I went to some kind of structure that was like ancient and there was all kind of technology in there, even if I didn't know anything about it, I'd still want to go in there and tamper with it and hopefully I don't kill myself and blow myself up. But the thing is, if you can like inspect it, check it out, and just I would use it like a fort, like a hideout, just keep going there all the time. Well, these guys with the government, they want to pull it apart. They want to take it for themselves, whether it be, you know, for technology for war or to better help, you know, everybody here on Earth, whatever it may be, whether it's good or bad, they're still going to want a piece of that. And they're not going to stop going just because they said, well, you know, we just ran out of money. You did not. I can almost guarantee you didn't. Grant, exactly. So it could be a probe checking in on us. Well, like I said, it's probably just going through there, and they didn't want to give any, you know, sign that it was an actual craft, so they just shut everything down, let it kind of tumble through, and they'll just say, oh, they'll just think we're a rock, and, you know, they'll be scratching their head for the longest time trying to figure it out. Who knows? Maybe it was just a rock, and it just didn't have any ice on there, so therefore you never saw a tail. Who knows? It could be just that easy and that simple. I don't know. But, yeah. Max K said, Chris just saw the Core's new single featuring Sarah Michael's Antarctica thesis on the video. Amazing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, you know, just getting her workout is like phenomenal. I also got in the next video, you're going to see me thank another channel and give him props to it, and I hope you guys will jump over there and thank him as well. This is the reason why we actually have more subscribers, if you noticed. Yeah, we gained about 3,000 of them. And it was thankful to him because he said he actually follows the channel and was actually pulling apart part of the video that I had done about, you know, what's really there in Antarctica. So, yeah, I mean, I give props to him and everything else. And, you know, a lot of the people have jumped on board here. And if there's any here, thank you for joining us. You know, it's just awesome. In fact, let me see. I don't know where it even went. Oh. His name, let me see, is Cliff High. Is this gentleman right here. I didn't ask you. Let's see. But he was on here, and he's talking about it, and it's for like 11 minutes into it, 11 minutes and 20 seconds. And he was talking about it. Everybody kept saying, like, yeah, I'm here, you know, Cliff High sent me. And I'm thinking to myself, who is this guy Cliff High? Who is this? Now, it seemed like it rang a bell, and I was like, okay, let me go check him out. And I said, oh, yeah, I do remember this guy. So I do actually, you know, talk about him in the next video. And this guy's down to earth, man. He's just good people. You know, check out his work when you can. And, you know, definitely go over there. And, you know, he's talking about, he was doing a patent on magnets and stuff like that. And I guess he got in a little bit of a trouble there. And when you go through his videos, you'll see it. I'll drop a link to his channel. And really down to earth guy. He's you know, I'm nerdy as far as like technology and stuff. I could listen to him all day long. I even say that in the video. So you'll hear me mention him again in the video because I was really trying to get this thing out on Wednesday, And it just wasn't, wow. My week's been so damn busy. I couldn't even scratch my head the right way or the wrong way. Yeah, I mean, he talked about it. I'm saying, who? I go on there and I finally hear this, and he's talking about, my work. And I guess he's got some people on there that actually do, he's talking about that, what looked like that skyscraper thing. And I guess he's got a group of people that actually study this and pull these things apart, and that's what he was doing. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let me do this. Well, I'm gonna. That was a commercial. That was part of it. But anyway, yeah, awesome. The guy's down to earth, smart as a whip. Just awesome. So, he gets a lot of credit for that. And so there's other people taking notice in these Antarctica photos and the research. And I'm glad people are jumping on board. And it's all because of Sarah. And when she come out with this, of course, I made I took her thesis and I put it into a scrolling book, as I call it, with some music in the background. Let me see. Alien Hunter has done the same. He's done his own, put the Cores music, the group, the Cores, their music onto a little thing about Antarctica and stuff like that. And, so a little tribute to her as well. But if not for her, I would have never done the work to bring her work out more. And of course, hers is still on the site. You can go to her site. Julia has put up there. In fact, you get the link to that. You can jump on that site now. She's got all kinds of stuff that's got to do with stuff that's being held from the public. A lot of good stuff on that site. Jump over there if you guys haven't been on there. I know a lot of you guys actually go there. Go check it out. You'll get a link to it. Just awesome. Let me see. Yeah, I got all kinds of good stuff here. Yeah, that's going to say, of course it is. Let me go down here. That's what it was. Okay, let's do this. That might be up a little. Let's see. There we go. And go on here, guys. You'll love the site. You can see the ever advancing assault on free speech. You can see where she's putting up, now different things. China kidnaps 2 Canadian teachers. Biden suspends Trump's power grid protection. She's putting up all this so people can see this. So you want to stay subscribed to her site. And it's, again, I thank Julia for actually keeping her site alive. They're actually going to just sell it off to some other, I don't know, for some kind of other, I forget what it was. Some kind of glamour thing. I forget what it was. Something to do with, fashion and stuff like that. And I'm glad she said, you know what? No. This site was doing very well until the end of Sarah's life. So she wanted to keep it going. And I give her nothing but props and kudos and much love for her to doing this. It's just awesome. And you can see we are on there. Mars X3D. You got David's channel on there. Ourselves are on there. Mars Anomalies and Beyond. The real Jimmy Roberts is on there. Mars Fam. Of course, .net, which is Jimmy's other site. Alien Hunter and stuff like that. Really good. You got Six is on there. Six knows that. He's on there. And helping out a little bit here and there. You got the centering of Antarctica, and that's where all the work came from, which is awesome. He's talking about all different national security threat. I mean, she's got good stuff coming out. You guys got to check this out. Let's see. And it's just a lot of good articles she's starting to put on there. So if you guys have been on the site, either bookmark it or whatever, just check it out frequently. It's really, really good. You guys will enjoy it. I can't say it enough. I'm just glad she's doing this. Everything, if you're into beauty stuff, but a lot of this stuff she's trying to make more of, bring this to the public kind of thing. Like I said, the assault on free speech and, just she's bringing up different topics she's going to put up here. Just awesome. So if you can, check it out. And again, you guys get the link if you're not sure, but you'll see sarahmichelle.org. You guys can check that out. I don't care. I love this picture here. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Chinese spacecraft enters Mars' orbit, joining Arab ship. Now, what I love about it is, this is a trip. Up here, you can see it's actually in color, their logos and black and white Mars. What just happened? I mean, what happened? So I thought that was pretty amusing. Let me jump all the way down here. Blue Flash, you said NASA wants us to believe that Apollo missions were fake. Well, I don't know if they want you to believe that, but it's kind of like they don't go out of their way to stand up for people who are saying that they're fake. Like, in other words, it's like, oh, that's so, it's just idiotic to believe that. They're just kind of like, yeah, just leave it up in the air, right? Again, divide and conquer. You believed we went? It was all fake. So you're constantly clashing. So, and that's the whole idea of it. That's, but anybody who's in the know, like just about all you guys know, if you do enough research, you know they absolutely went. I said, even if the astronauts never went, I don't even care if they even went. You can bet they put landers down, and they're taking photos of what's on the moon, regardless. But I know they definitely went to the moon, as far as people-wise. Astronauts did go. So, yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's what they're hiding in the photos is the key. Now, I just, like I said, I just thought this was insane. In this updated photo released by China National Space Administration, or the CNSA, a view of the planet Mars is captured by China's Tianwen, I guess, one Mars probe from a distance of 2.2 million kilometers, or 1.37 million miles. A Chinese spacecraft appears poised to Earth. I'm sorry. I'm getting it all screwy here. Let me just make this a little bigger, a little better. A Chinese spacecraft appears poised to enter orbit around Mars on Wednesday, February 10th. So we know we already passed that 2 days ago. One day after an orbit from the United Arab Emirates did so, and about a week ahead of the American attempt to put down another spacecraft on the surface of the red planet. So, yeah, I just thought it was funny why is that not color? So, entering orbit has been successful, making our country's first artificial Mars satellite, the agency announced. The mission is bold, even for a space program that has racked up a steady stream of achievement and brought prestige to China's ruling Communist Party. So, yeah, China's attempt, I keep wanting to say Chinese, I don't know why, will involve a parachute, rocket firings, and airbags. It's proposed a landing site is a vast rock-strewn plain called Utopia Planitia. And I believe Jean Watt actually covered that area, where the U.S. Viking 2 lander touched down in 1976. Before the arrival this week of the Chinese spacecraft and the UAE's orbiter, 6 other spacecraft were already operating around Mars, 3 U.S., 2 European, and 1 Indian. And, of course, that's the mom satellite for the Indian. And, all 3 of the latest missions were launched in July to take advantage of the close alignment between Earth and Mars that happens only once every 2 years, which is true. A NASA rover called Perseverance is aiming for February 18th landing. It, too, will search for signs of ancient microbial or microscopic life, collecting rocks that will return to Earth in about a decade. So 10 years after that, guys. So, interesting, to say the least. But I just thought that was crazy how he got, colored logos there, but, black and white. What do you guys think of that? I thought that was pretty silly. Josh, you said if the Chinese manage to land ESA, will look bad again. They only crash land. Man, that's not good. Yeah, Mimi. Yeah, I'm afraid you're right. More Photoshop pictures. What's going on there, Mr. William Johnson? All those landings on my 60th birthday month. Sweet. It's actually, believe it or not, it's my sister's birthday. Actually, February 18th. Oh, what is his name? Maduka, what's going on? Good to see you in there. From a distance of 2 million kilometers, according to the Book of Enoch, the sun and moon, the same size. Could very well be. Yeah. Yep, Mimiak is 6. I didn't know there were so many. Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, go to just go to Google and say missions to Mars. How many missions? And like I said, they got this huge chart. There's one that's round. and talked about this, and there's like a list on one, and had all kinds of failures from the, the Soviet Union at the time, United States, so on and so forth. I mean, then finally you start to see these things actually landing on Mars or orbiting, depending on what they sent there. Oh my God. It was like at the time, I think there was like 26 attempts or missions to Mars, but some did not make it, of course, and some did. Now, some actually have like that round, there's like a round picture, and it shows like all of these other missions that were, it'll say either attempted or failed, and then it'll say, from this point or from that year to now, so on and so forth. It's really interesting. It's cool. There's quite a bit. Yep, Mimi, that's all I did to do. Just collect the little rocks, nothing more. H-Stars1AV, what's going on? Good to see you in there, man. He said, well, looks like every government on Earth is going to have Mars and we won't. Yeah. Yep, 10 years from now. Yep, 6, you're right. Nathan Bond, what's going on? Good to see you there. He said, hi, Chris, and all. Dr. Z. Smith, good day, Chris. What's going on there, Dr. Z? William Johnson's in there. What's happening, William? Dr. C says, hello, wonderful people or persons. Mimi Rex says, yikes, I'm turning 33. Man, what I'd give to be 33 again. Yep, older sister, Maduka. James Cragen said, Chris, in the equinox, the moon and the sun will look like they are the same size from the Earth. Yep, that is true. Yeah, Mimi, yeah, that's all it is. All that attention for sand and stones. That's it. That's all they need. It's like they're all going to... Can you imagine how silly this even sounds? I mean, they're all sitting at the table, or they're like live on, whatever. Because you can bet there's offices where they got all of these computer screens, and they're talking to everybody from every country, and they're going, yeah, we're just there for the rocks, guys. Well, yeah, but we already proved it's nothing but rocks and dust. Oh, yeah, you're right, but I just want to see what they really look like up close. Yeah, okay. Alien Tenno, thank you very much for your support, brother. I appreciate you. Said, will the Martians social distance from the rovers? God, I hope they do. Because you can bet there's germs on them things. Even though they claim they're in clean rooms while they're being built, they do everything they can to sterilize them and everything else. You know as well as I do, there'll be hardy bacteria on there that'll make it to Mars, and you can bet we've already contaminated it. Although they wanted you to believe that they did not. We had no part to play in this. Anita M., what's going on? Or maybe we're eventually going to be like Venus, so they're searching for another planet home. It could very well be. And like I said, they're going to like Titan, which is a lot like Earth, believe it or not. It's like they're just trying to go to these moons or these planets to see if we see what we got on the moon, what's on Mars. There's remnants of stuff we've seen that are on Venus, which is crazy as that sounds. And people go, well, you can't, like some of these planets are too hot, some of them are too cold, some of them are gaseous. It doesn't matter. Like I said, we have habitats up in Antarctica and some of the coldest places on the planet. Doesn't mean you stand outside and live out in it. You house yourself from the elements. So, you could be in the Goldilocks zone, like if you look at Mercury or Venus, if you look, you say, okay, what's the hottest planet? Okay. You say, well, it's too hot. You can't be there. Yeah, I know. But I'm trying to remember how long it takes to rotate. I think Mercury, it was, trying to remember if it was it's quite a long time. It rotates very slow. You guys might know the answer to this. But anyway, so while one side of the planet is slowly rotating, there's life there. And they may live underground. And you may have like 6 months or almost a year, because I'm almost positive it was like 6 months or a year it took to actually rotate at full rotation on its axis. And I could be wrong on the planet, but I believe it's Mercury, and I could be wrong, but you guys can correct me on this. So it's actually turning very slowly. So in the meantime, that part of the planet cools down, they're okay. But if you go to the North Pole or the South Pole, it doesn't matter if it's facing the sun, it's coolest at the poles. And it could be a lot like temperatures like here on Earth. So you got almost like a little Goldilocks zone going on right on the planet. So it could be done. 6, you said, I think we have been to them all by now. Perhaps not. I'm sorry, perhaps true or not. Even if we haven't seen anything on these other planets or moons, it doesn't mean we haven't been there. And like I said, I love the idea that they're actually trying to research these. I don't like the idea they're not telling the truth about what they're finding. So the science is good. Love science. Again, if you're a nerd and stuff like that and you enjoy this kind of thing, it's awesome. So I love everything about NASA except for the part about just like, let's keep that sneaky little information out would like change, the way people think about themselves and the way people might actually come together and stuff like that. Let's just suppress all that, right? Why don't we just do that instead? So, we'll just keep them in the dark. I don't get it, Crypto OG, what's going on? You said we have to have alien DNA. That's why we explore and look so strange. Well, we may look strange to other people, or other aliens or civilizations, if you will. And they may look different from us. It depends to me on their, if they've lived on their planet, and let's say it's a little different as far as oxygen, carbon, or whatever it may be, they might have, they might live and breathe differently than us. I don't know. Or they are a lot like us, and they just live in structures, and it protects them from the elements. They might live underground on some of these planets. Don't have to worry about the heat or the cold. You have a constant temperature when you're underground. There's so many things that they could do. They can, get oxygen, through water. They can get oxygen through air or whatever. They can, whatever. No, we don't even know. A lot of people say, well, there's no way they can live on that planet because clearly there's no oxygen. That doesn't mean anything. You can make oxygen from different sources. You can also, like I said, you can also live underground. And how do we know that a lot of these other civilizations breathe pure oxygen? Well, we don't know. We just assume they do. Now, we couldn't live on these planets, no. Leslie Warren, you said I was born a nerd, but our second wasn't meant to so glad my daddy look beyond his time. Love. Well, yeah, I mean, it's good to have, to me, it's good to just teach your children about the world, not have the world teach your children. It's good to have, to say, explore, question everything. That doesn't mean you're being 100% skeptical, but you're not believing everything you hear. So, it's good to question things, look into the stuff, research it, and find out for yourself. Don't just go by hearsay. And like I said, I've said this many times in here. When I show you a video, I give you the picture. I show you all the angles, at least what I believe what's going on, and my opinion, and then I say, guys, it's up to you now. What do you guys think? Is this natural? Is it not? What do you think it is? Again, we can only pure speculate. That's all we can ever do. Because, again, unless we can go there and, like I said, pick it up and go, oh, wow, look at this. Oh, that's a bottle. We don't know. We have no clue. Now, it might have a shape of something. It might go, it looks a lot like this, and that's what I believe to be it is. Doesn't mean I can still vet it. So, all you can do is just say, this is the way it is. This is what I see. This, in my opinion, this is what it is. Robert Morgan, what's going on? He said, if B people, I'm not sure what that is, but people are descendants of aliens, maybe the far leftists should be rounding up those rather than conservatives. Well, I'm not going to get into too many politics, but I mean, I just believe that, our governments know a lot more than what they're saying, and I think a lot of it would freak a lot of people out. Like I said, I've seen a lot of things on the moon, and I mean like the satellite, like from the LROC, the photos from the satellite, it's just wow. And to be there, it's, again, we said this before, where it looked like it's no wonder why the astronauts were freaked out when they came back. I actually watched that again. Somebody had it on there, had the whole press conference on there. And the cool thing about it, they actually lined up pictures. So I don't know if they had a screen on the other side, which you couldn't see. But what they did was, they incorporated the photos and actually stuck them in the video so you can see them too. Because when you see them talking, the screens are out of that screen that you're watching the actual astronauts at the desk. So they took it and they put it so you can see it. So as they were talking, you can just see them. They're like, yeah. So this is the this is where we got off the lander. Now, there's no enthusiasm, guys. Nothing. And then they're just kind of like, you can just see them kind of looking around, yeah. And then there's one I showed you guys where they're like literally just kicking back going, oh my God, why do we need to be here? You can just see the look on their face. They just didn't want to be there. Again, let's suppose they found nothing on the moon. They were simply there to gather rocks and different dust because they want to see the age of these rocks, find out maybe certain ages of the, of the moon because they took, moon samples and stuff like that and core samples and stuff. And let's say that's all it was. It still was the biggest step for mankind. And again, I said this a million times, like their family got killed in a car crash. They didn't want to be there. They're like, yeah, so anyway, this was over here. I mean, so ho-hum kind of, wow. They'd be like, oh, man, it was great. We were up there. And guys, this is the perfect part when we were getting off the lander. This was no enthusiasm whatsoever. Sad. Thing jumped on me here. Darren M. What's going on? It's really cool to see so many people in the chat questioning things. Always ask questions, even when people tell you that you're crazy. Yeah, you should. That's what makes it's just inquiring minds. You want to know if you're interested in a certain subject. I don't care if it's mechanics. I don't care if it's electronics. I don't care if it's about science. What are you going to do? It's your favorite topic. You're going to want to delve into it, and you want to just know everything about it. You want to, just consume it, right? So, I don't see anything wrong with that. Ask questions. Like I said, I don't care what it is. Is this the right TBI for my 305 engine? Is this the, whatever. Should I put this diode in this? Is it the wrong way? The polarity, whatever. I mean, there's so many different things you should ask. Just ask questions. And that knowledge is power. And that's what makes you different than the average person. Just takes it and go, oh, that's what it is. Never to question a thing. I want people to question things on my channel. I don't want them to just follow along like a robot. There's some channels out there to say, look what I found on the moon, and there's no way to vet it because you don't have your own telescope. So you just kind of follow along, oh, I guess he's telling the truth, so therefore, yeah. Or different other photos where they show things on Mars, and yet, they're not breaking it down for you. They're just showing maybe an enhancement they've done. They're not giving you the link to it. They're not doing any of that. So you can't even check it out for yourself. So you go, oh, and then some people go, oh, that's cool. And there's nothing wrong with that, seeing it. But I want people to begin to be more interactive with it. I want people to really get into it and see for themselves. That's just the way I feel. H-81AV, he says, electronics. Oh, yeah. What's going on there, Robert Bailey? Good to see you in there. Maduka says, electronics is cool, LOL. Oops. Okay, you guys going back and forth here. Friend 7. I don't think I've ever seen you on here, but welcome aboard. You said, may be told to downplay the moon so as to end the missions as soon as possible because of the anomaly. Well, that could very well be. Great comment. Yeah, I mean, just like, yeah, it was no big deal. We're just there, and here's some silly rocks. And, I mean, there was, like I said, get to see the whole thing, the whole press conference. You can just look at the Apollo 11 press conference and get the one, I think it's over an hour long. Might even be longer than that. But, I mean, there was just nothing there. It's just like, so anyway, we're here. Just looking at each other like, hey, anybody else here on this panel want to kill themselves? I do. I mean, they just look like sad, really sad. Alien Tenno says, in 100 years or less, we will become the Borg. It's that simple. Well, yeah, because we're going to have like, implants for the computers, be hooked up to the mastermind, so to speak. You're just going to link anything down, like the Matrix. You want to learn how to fly a helicopter, you can do that. But I mean, it can be downfall, but it can also be very good because then you can become very smart, right? Because you can just tap into anything you want. You want to, like I said, just learn about. You can do that. It just goes down, downloads into your mind. You just simply know it now. Robert Bailey says, "Hey, hi, keep up the good work. I appreciate that, Robert." Dr. Z. Smith says, Earth is a globe. Yes, it most certainly is. Well, yeah, David Clark said, Earth is a geode. Well, it's kind of because it's not completely spherical, but it's darn close. But yeah, it looks more like a pear, I believe, if you were to strip the water off of it. Robert Bailey says, one day we will find out the truth about our moon. I think a lot of scientists already know that. I mean, they're just looking at even, and again, I think we talked about this last time. There was a couple Russians that have a book out, and they were talking about all the crazy stuff what's going on with the moon, and that it's actually artificial. At least that's what they're saying. And in my opinion, I believe they're telling the truth. Again, NASA's found out they literally, dropped the rockets onto the moon when they left, causing it to ring like a bell. And of course, they had seismographs there. Because there are moonquakes, don't get me wrong, but it's just weird how they wanted to do that and then, drop I don't know if it was the second or third stage of the rocket, just kind of let it plummet down and boom, and it just rang for like hours and a couple of times it was like days or whatever it was. But either way, if it rang more than 2 seconds, what? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So they believe that it's hollow in some spots, or, some people believe it's completely hollow and that there may be a civilization living in it. I don't know how true that would be, but I'm not saying that there couldn't be, they're not living under the lunar surface, and there's structures definitely there, and what look like dilapidated ships just laying on their sides and just laying on the surface. What the hell are they doing there? And clearly, if it isn't ours, yeah. Well, like I said, you said you're taking the hollow moon. Well, I think you said, and so, yeah, I was just talking about that. And I don't know. I mean, I think they could be like in these cavernous areas where there used to be lava tubes. And this is what NASA wanted to do anyway. They wanted to kind of build like our bases in the lava tubes because, keep the radiation away, and of course you won't get, if there's any kind of rocks coming from space, it definitely won't take out the base because it'll be underground. So many things that they want to do. And, of course, I'd hate to have the underground cave in, like the top you onto it, but that would be bad. So, yeah, I mean, that is, it's just weird in itself. I think it could very well have hollow areas like we do here on Earth. We have a lot of caverns here on Earth, whether underwater or just cavernous areas. So is it completely hollow? What do you guys think? Is the moon completely hollow, or do you think it's just parts of it due to lava tubes and stuff like that? Robert, you said it glows like a light bulb, the moon. Well, it really doesn't glow. It just kind of gives its own reflection off from the sun. But interestingly enough, you had mentioned that, and I think China wanted to actually build their own. Remember that? They said like something about having it over China be like a giant nightlight kind of thing. And I'm like, what's the point? But whatever. But they had said that. Now, if you notice, there will be, you see like different, quarter moon, crescent, and all this other stuff. That's due to just the way the position of the moon, and of course that's the sun reflecting. You got the Earth here and sun over here, so you're only seeing like the sun's mostly on the Earth, but it's casting a little bit of light onto the moon. This is the reason why you see different moon sizes, and of course there's other reasons for that. But it's basically it's supposed to be like a kind of a bright surface on the moon, and this is why you get that reflective properties. But I've heard that before. People are saying it glows like a light bulb itself. My opinion, no, I don't believe that's the case. It doesn't give off its own light. That's just my opinion. And again, it has a reflective kind of surface, so that's why you see that big time. It'll be glow like really bright, depending on its position and the sun hitting it. Mags K, he said, I think they don't know how to disclose the truth. They are either scared of the mass hysteria or they are so scared to lose control of us. And it could be both, yeah. Or they felt they've already dug themselves so deep that if they admit that they were wrong, or lied rather, that they're not going to be funded ever again. Not that they're not stealing the money anyway. That's the reason why we get a deficit of like ungodly amounts. They're just like, oh, just take that out. And, we'll just go up on a couple extra $1 trillion. What's the big deal, right? So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see disclosure come soon. I don't care what it's about. Now, we're supposed to see it in June, I think it was. They're supposed to have that little mandate. They stuffed in little COVID stimulus and all this other crap about, we're going to give more disclosure and everything else. We'll see how that goes about. I think it's either June or July, isn't it? Evil Soul 9G9. I believe many moons in our solar system house life because the planets themselves cannot. Our moon, the moons of Saturn, mostly because most of them are frozen water. Well, I mean, the thing is, it's kind of like us. Like I said, we have bases underwater. Now, some of them are military. We get some off the East Coast and some off the West Coast. So it doesn't really matter what the surface is, meaning the surface of the water could be complete solid ice. But you can drill through it. You can get down and you can actually build underwater. And what happens if that's all they do is travel underwater to different cities under that water, that ocean? I mean, they could literally do that. Some people say, well, if it's a gaseous planet, there's no way they could live on that. But if it's a gaseous planet, what's keeping it all together? There is a core there somewhere, okay? Somewhere there's a core. That doesn't mean they couldn't build on it. And the gas could be just above them. I mean, you know what I mean? As long as you're in your own environment, you don't have to worry about what's going on outside. So they could build anywhere they really want to. If they, like I said, you can't breathe in water, but if you're underneath, like let's say our own ocean, you got a base built there. You can live there all day long. As long as you got oxygen and the right perfect atmospherics for yourself, you can live there all day long. So, and you can probably just create oxygen because you got water. Therefore, you can split it, hydrogen, got oxygen. This thing jumped on me, so I'm just going to jump all the way down to the bottom here. I don't mean to skip anybody's comments. If I did, just rewrite it. Yeah, Max K. Yeah, we wait with bated breath. Absolutely. Leslie said, I think it's hollow. It's rings. And I think it's got life on there and far more intelligent than us and peaceful. But not all beings. Did you see the notebook from Russia during Cold War shows others? Oh, yeah, that I don't doubt. That I do not doubt. If you guys didn't hit that thumbs up, please do so. Bam, hit it. Let's drive this numbers right up. Nail them up there. Let me see here. James, thanks again for your support, brother. I do appreciate you. He said, Chris, hollow or not, the moon was not created by some other planet or rock smashing into the Earth and then turning into a perfect satellite. No way. Yeah, I thought about that myself, right? Again, we were just talking about the shape of Earth. If you were to strip the water from it, it looks like a pear shape. So it's not perfect. Now, they do say other planets have hit this back in ancient times. If that's true, that's why there's chunks missing. I get that. But yet the moon is perfectly spherical. Well, pretty darn close, right? Compared to Earth, anyway, if you strip the water off. Look at Mars. It's the same way. It's almost perfect, other than, certain parts on there. You got mountains and stuff and stuff like that. But all in all, they're completely round, except for, like I said, Earth. It seems like anything that doesn't have water on it seems to be almost spherical. Well, pretty close. anything does have water on it, it just has all kinds of, again, if you were to strip it off, and I think there's a video or picture that said, if you were to remove the photo, what would the water, what would the photo of Earth look like? And it was pretty interesting. It was like weird. Again, James, thank you very much. Yep, even Robert said a smash your thumbs up. Oh, yeah. Awake Soul, Chris, your question was, Chris, what do you think about two moons theory? Well, we do have two moons. One is a lot further out than the one we have now, and it is much smaller. Now, I've never seen it. They claim there is another one. And like I said, and I forget how far it is out, but there is actually two moons. We have a lot smaller moon that's orbiting our planet. Rob Lowe says, you think we could harness Saturn's rings as a radio telescope? Interesting. I don't know if it'd have to be more solid than that, though. That'd be a lot smoother, too. Metalhead, what's going on? Good to see you in there. I don't know if you were in there for a while there or what. Must have snuck in. Let's see. Disclosure TV said, just now got a notification you were live. Yeah, it's weird how YouTube works, isn't it? That's why I said just check back at 5 p.m. Eastern time all the time. Now, we didn't have one last week because I had some things I had to get done. So, no big deal. But, just check back. Because they're doing their best not to, let's not notify them so the channel will die off. It's like, well, you guys can try that. But if people are already onto this, meaning they're like, no, we follow them anyway. They're not going to do anything about it, right? They won't sway you in one form or another if you already just check back. Well, good to see you in the Disclosure TV. Goat Heart says 148 people in the chat. Well, actually, there's 153 now. Only 126 thumbs up. Come on, guys, hit it. Olin Creole, what's going on? You said Chinese forgot their red paint. Yeah, you ain't lying there. You are not lying, brother. It was funny. We were watching. I was actually got email. I wasn't watching it at all. I was watching this, though, after. Where I was checking my email, and Julia texted me, say, hey, you got to check this out. Maybe you can talk about this. And, of course, you guys know this. This is just a I don't want to really play the sound because I'll probably get a copyright strike on this, although it's from, I believe it's from NASA and everything else. But this is of Perseverance. And it's basically an animation of what's going to happen. Pretty cool. Gates, what's going on? He said, do you believe we had contact for the first time during the Cold War? Some type of extraterrestrial life form? Well, I know back in the time. Get rid of my face on here. Foo Fighter. This is the reason where that's how the actual group Foo Fighters got their name. They got it from that. Look it up. It's pretty cool. I didn't even know they did that. I was like, it's kind of interesting how they had that. Their group name is that. And you look it up and said they were actually they got their name from that actual event. Yep, all eyes will be on Perseverance, touching down. Oh yeah, in Jezero Crater. And again, it's supposed to be like a. It's basically the floor of an ancient ocean, and they believe a lot of the water did come from mountains and flow right into that area. So that'd be interesting. One thing I don't like about this video is that they don't show ingenuity. Let me go back here a little bit. Here's your power supply on this thing, nuclear powered, UHF antenna. This one here is the, X band antenna right here, highly directional, looks like a little stop sign. It literally comes up, it folds up, and it can actually turn and twist. That can go directly to Earth, send information directly to Earth. They have this, like I said, the other antenna actually goes to like the orbiters, so that they can actually, upload information. Of course, get information, either give it commands or whatever they need to do. So they have two ways of getting information because they're both transceivers. They can get information, transmit and receive at the same time, or simultaneously, depending on how they want to do it. And they're going to have like, just a bunch of new equipment on this thing. You got the turret arm right here that's in the front and literally unfolds. It's kind of looks like a Z formation kind of thing. It goes like this and comes up, and of course it fully extends. You can see it a little bit better right there. It's got the fins on it. I don't know if you guys remember the video I showed you guys. I showed you they had one exactly like this during the Apollo missions. The same thing. Picture a canister sitting on the ground with these fins sticking out all the way around it. So this thing, take this out and stand it out vertically on the ground, and there's fins all the way around this thing. And they used the very same one in the Apollo missions. Think about that a minute. How crazy that is that they used that even back then. They're using it up here. So technology changed in some ways it did not. Gage, your question was, how long does it take for the information to come back to Earth and get to the river for that matter? Well, basically, it's anywhere between 5 and 20 minutes, depending on the position of Mars to Earth, and of course the orbiter. Now, the way they explain this is that when all of the pictures are taken, they upload it to the MRO and the other orbiters out there. And the second it becomes close enough, it faces Earth, it sends the information. Now, there was a guy, and there's a long story about this, but they said they found out they must have some kind of weird, they found this out by accident, that as soon as there was moonrise, if you were on Mars and there was Earthrise rather, when you see it come up, they said what's really weird is one of the rovers would actually transmit. I think this is Opportunity. It was transmitting like within seconds. So the second it become, his Opportunity, your Earthrise, wham! It literally started sending the information directly to Earth within seconds. Didn't take minutes. Didn't take 5 to 20 minutes. Took seconds to do it. So let's call it 1 minute for argument's sake. That's why they think there's better communications than they're letting on going on with these rovers. Much better communications. John Jay said your question was, if the landing cradle flew back into orbit, it'd be a bit more impressed. I'd be a little bit more impressed. Can't see why it doesn't do that already. Why can't you could take a bigger payload? You could already launch and land rockets. Well, yeah, they could do that. I think this thing either flies off and just crashes, or if it just lands somewhere else. It seemed like the other one they showed, like on Curiosity, it just flew off, and that was the end of that. So I don't know, but yeah. William Johnson, good one. Crash lands on a Martian's car. Did I mail in my payment? Yeah, I mean, like you guys are talking on HSOS 1AV and Olin, you guys are saying we get censored 4K images. You'd be lucky if those things are 480 by the time we get them. There's supposed to be HD video. Now, these cameras are capable of this. They're capable of HD video as well as photos. Yet we don't see them. Now, they might start off that way, crystal clear, see all the stuff you want to see on there. Of course, we can't see it. And, of course, like I said, they downplay it. They probably can actually just change the resolution, make the photo much smaller, change the resolution, doctor them up, do whatever they got to do with it, and then they send them out to the public. So you're left with a rendered piece of garbage is basically what it comes down to. So this is the reason why sometimes it's so hard to pull this stuff out of the photo, because a lot of it is just trash. And they either make them extremely dark. It's not because it's dusk or dawn. It's just because they choose, let's just make it darker. All I can do is just turn the just brightness down in the photo, bring down the exposure, whatever it is they want to do to it. And so if there's something in that photo and they've already kind of like took it out of the photo, meaning censored it in some way, and then make it darker, you'll be none the wiser. It's right. And like I said, this is the reason why sometimes it's so hard to get these things out. That's why some of them are like, really didn't see too much in this video. Well, you weren't supposed to see it to begin with. Tony Gibbs, what's going on? He says, still have to have a dependable remote at a few million miles. I lost a drone at the end of my block. Well, keep in mind that this thing is autonomous. So once it lands, it's just like any other rover. It's, once this thing cranes it and brings it down, it'll flip on, do a full diagnostics, check itself out. The arm will come out, the turret and everything else. It'll check itself out, make sure it's functioning, go through all of the BS. Make sure all the equipment's online, all the electric motors, because it's 6-wheel drive basically. They're all turning, they're working, moving forward, backward. Send information, make sure all of the transceivers are working, both the radio basically working. And basically just does a full test, a full run, make sure it's good, and then off it goes. And it'll start its journey. So, and then after that, they just give it commands after that. So it can literally just start roving by itself, and we don't even have to have a command on it. It can just do its own thing. And once it sees something, it just stops and it'll look at a rock and whatever, and it just start doing, either drilling into the ground or whatever other experiments, it needs to do. Of course, it depends on, because, we had Curiosity, now we got Perseverance. I don't know. Max Cat, it's a good question. There's a couple people in here. Yep. Noodles isn't in here. There's a couple of them that are not here. Your Highness, what's going on? Love that Noodles name. So mob-like. Yeah, I don't think I've seen him in there. Darren M., you said Perseverance will send data to the orbiters constantly. No more 15-minute data send windows, hopefully. Well, yeah, it'll send it to the orbiters, but then the orbiters got to send it to Earth. I believe, after reading this document, and like I said, I went over it several times on live feed, where they found out that the Opportunity rover had an extra transceiver in it, and they were like wondering why. It's like, what's going on? So they found out this thing would send directly to the DSM, the Deep Space Network, which is, I said M instead of N, which are these large radio telescopes, right? The large dishes, some of them like 100 feet, maybe larger than that. And they're all over the world, so they get these things, so it doesn't matter what time, there'll be a receiving station at some point picking this information up. So they found out this information was going back to these 3 particular computers, and of course it gets downloaded. Any of the information gets downloaded to a hard drive, or I don't know if it's like an SSD as opposed to a mechanical hard drive, but it's supposed to be going to that. So they were trying to figure out what was going on. Then they found out the DOD was involved, and they said, and it says here that they're modifying these photos. What? And they were questioning that. What is the motive for doctoring up these photos? So all of it has been confirmed in this experiment, because one guy actually worked for NASA, the other guy was just a brainchild. In other words, he's into like computer programming and everything else, and the other guy he's the one that kept an eye on the computers and stuff like that. And when Opportunity didn't actually function, it got a command, it didn't function, didn't move forward, didn't do anything. So they were like, well, what's going on, So they gave it a command, it still didn't move. So they did a memory dump, re-upped the information and the directions, and it started to move. Well, the guy took the dump, and he actually checked out the information on it, and this is how he found all the information out. So it confirmed that they are actually messing with these photos. It confirmed that the DOD is involved. It's just a host of things, and it's going to certain people. Well, again, he put like this little program in the data stream, so it could not be seen. They made sure that it could not be seen. Well, come to find out, they found out they came in and they wiped out these 3 computers, literally wiped them clean. So they think, oh my God, they must have found out about us, but they didn't. Somehow they just went in and just cleaned the computers. So maybe they had an inkling that somebody was trying to do it, and they just went in and instantly wiped them all. But nonetheless, It just confirms this stuff. Leslie, you said it's sad that they don't share with us all typical stupidity of so-called elite. I could have been one, lol, but fate intervened. Why stop futuristic ideas, etc.? Other intelligence do not want this equal world. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like just for us, particularly you people in the need to know. You don't need to know any of this. So I just think it's sad that it is actually like that. See, it doesn't even show ingenuity. Like, I had a video out that showed it where it's going to drop it from the belly. It's then going to pull away. And then, of course, the helicopter is going to check itself real quick. And then it's going to take flight. And that's how it's going to work. So, and you can see it right here, Jezero Crater. You can see right here, if you look over here, all of this coming down is where they believe water came down and spilled into this, as like an ocean floor. And that's what they think happened there. So they think they have a lot better shot of finding microbial life or fossilized microbial life. And I believe they'll find microbial first. And then they're going to find probably living microbial, or they'll just find it right off the bat. Then again, like I said, they'll slowly, and then after that, they'll slowly go, maybe they'll find like a piece of, like I said, indigenous moss type thing on there, or some kind of little dried out plant like a cactus we have on here that still lives on very little water under the ground. They'll find something. You watch and see. Little by little, they're gonna build this up. What's going on, Mike L? Evil Soul 9G9, you said, looks like a half circle arch in the middle hills. Oh, you can see that, yeah, right there. Pretty much in the middle of the screen right there. Of course, it's all like an animation, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I've done a video on that, on Jezero Crater, and it looks like there was actually structures there. I don't know if I got the word Jezero Crater in that video, but you can check. And literally, you can see where it looks like there were structures there, and right off near one of the hills on these mountains, there was something built there. Like some kind of looked like a dam area or something like that where they dammed off the water, and looks like there were structures there. You can actually see what looks like remnants of walls laying there, 90-degree angles, all kinds of crazy stuff. Goat Hot, good to see you in there anyway, brother. You said it's getting pretty late over here in Berlin. Need to shut down. Was a pleasure chatting with you. Everybody, good night and stay safe. You do the same, Goat Hot. Good seeing you in there. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon there. Kishoralel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I may be completely off base, but the reason for that is, you said the reason for that is because NASA don't want other countries to know about the technologies on these planets. They want to keep the technologies for themselves. Well, I initially thought the same, but now we've got India there, Russia, China, ESA, or Europe in there. There's just a whole range of countries now going there. So United Emirates is now there. We've got a whole bunch of people going there. This is the reason why I said there's like an elite group, and they're all from the higher up governments, and they're all in this together. Now, as far as the normal space programs for the people, that's entirely different. But I think there's other halves. There's two halves to these space programs. The other one is like the Black Ops elite kind of thing. And these are the people going to these planets and discovering these things and taking what they want. And they may be working together as far as that goes. But the rest of it, no. As far as this, the other half is just for PR move. It's just for us to, consume. Now, I'm not saying that part's all fake. I'm just saying maybe they don't even know what's going on, meaning just the people that are just working to show the public and, stuff like that. That may be all legit, and they don't know what's going on as far as the Black Ops, and they're just clueless. That's happened before. Robert Morgan, you said they say there are oceans of salty water underground. Yes, next to the South Pole, I think it was. There was a riverbed underground, and I think it was like a mile in width, and it was approximately. It had to be over. The way they described it had to be over at least a foot deep in order for the radar to be able, the ground penetrating radar to even notice it. So it was at least that deep, if not more, and it was like a mile wide. At least that's what they said. I believe it was. So that's interesting in itself, and there's so much water on it. There's a water cycle in Gale Crater anyway, so, and I'm sure there's something here. Now, whether to say that or not, I don't know, but in Gale Crater there was, so. Yeah. Josh, you said the more countries go there, now again, it is prestige thing. The sooner the bubble will burst. Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. At some point, because if they're getting all this information, right? They're taking photos, they're taking videos and everything. At some point, because more and more people are, doing this, I'm hoping that somebody just like steals this. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's like get the information, get it out to the public. I don't care how they do it, just get it out to the public. Like I said, I don't care if they gave it to me. I'd be like, here you go, guys. Have at it. I wouldn't care in the least bit just to actually show people. You know what I mean? If somebody actually did that and said, by the way, you won't know my name or track my email. Here it is. Just what I want to send you. That's fine with me. I'll show the world. I don't care. Don't matter to me. A pretty big area. I'm sure there's some actual, probably actual truth to the way this terrain looks. Probably from satellite views, they probably know this. I wanted to shorten your name to Kish. How's that? Horishalel. It's kind of a tongue twister, but you said maybe they have watched videos like yours and got the ideas that there must be something that NASA is investing, probably investigating, so much time and money. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they already know. They got crystal clear pictures of whatever's there. So they're just like, maybe other countries, like you said, maybe other countries have done this where they're just like, hey, what's going on here? If they're watching video, it could be any video, like you're saying, and they're saying, hey, wait a minute, why is this guy finding this stuff in here? But that, maybe they'll pass off something and go, he's just seeing things in these rocks. But then when you see some things, you go, oh, wait a minute, that clearly doesn't look like anything natural. Why don't we go get a piece of that too? But they're all going to be like bedfellows, all, with NASA and everything else, and they're all together and doing this because as well as I do, the second another country went there, let's say they weren't, and they just said, you know what, we want to show what's really on this planet. India would have been the first one to do it because they were third after, I think, ESA. So, and it doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. It just makes you wonder. You think they would have just said, oh, by the way, this is what's really on here, and this is what we found. You don't hear any of that. None of it. All right. Perseverance. And there they are there. Emirates Mars mission. Hope probe lines up historic Mars maneuver. And of course, it says 2 hours ago, but I've had this page here. But yeah, cool. I mean, it's cool that they're all getting in on this, but then you go, okay, for what reason though? It just doesn't make sense. Pete, you said if NASA wouldn't hide so much, the international interest would be there. Yeah, there'd be a lot more of it. And you'd probably get a lot more flowing cash, too. Because I don't know about you guys. Let's say they went back to like when they had the Apollo missions, right? Where they said, we're trying to get the public to fund us and everything else. I don't think anybody'd have a problem with that. If they would be on the up and up in the very beginning, right? You think that people would go, oh, I'm down. I'll definitely give some money. I want to see more of this. So they would do that. Because it's no longer entertainment. It's now the real deal. So you would absolutely, I'd try to fund them and say, yeah, here's some money, yeah. So history beckons for the United Arab Emirates as it seeks on Tuesday to place a probe around Mars. The Hope spacecraft, launched from Earth 7 months ago, is about to reach the decisive moment in its long journey, orbit insertion. Currently moving at over 120,000 kilometers, or 75,000 miles an hour, it must fire its braking engines for 27 minutes to be sure to be captured by the planet's gravity. Success will enable Hope to begin its mission to study Mars' climate. Mars' climate. We're entering a very critical phase, said Project Director Amran Sharaf. It's a phase that basically defines whether we reach Mars or not, and whether we'll be able to conduct our science or not. If we go too slow, we crash on Mars. If we go too fast, we skip Mars, he told BBC, which is true. And you can see right here what they're trying to do is like to kind of come in and like just orbit and try to phase it and then actually get into a certain phase and then actually go around it. And we can get into orbit, pretty much, right? Let's see. I don't know if this is... Well, of course it's not going to have any kind of... What do you call it here? I don't know if they have any subtitles, do they? There they go. No, this... Look how lame that was. William Johnson, you said it makes sense, Chris. Internet funding for space programs. Yeah, I don't think anybody cared to if they were been told the truth right from the word go, right? I don't think so. Like I said, I'm going to shorten your name to Kish. Another good example is the Area 51. Think about it, why our government is protecting the Area 51 with so much security. I believe the reason for that is obvious. Well, now that everybody knows about it, now there's an Area 52, which is strange enough, but yeah. Darren, good to see you in there, man. I'm glad you stopped in. You said, gonna sign off. This is a great live chat. The mods do a great job. Chris is the top and all. Keep asking questions. Peace to you. All right, Darren, have yourself a good one, man. Be safe, and we'll see you the next Hangout, right? So, yeah, have a good one. That's the actual Gale crater right there that I just showed. Yeah, this is pretty cool. The 150-meter high Dubai frame has been lit up in red to mock Hope's arrival. Look at the size of the thing, just boof. But yeah, pretty cool. Well, it's kind of an interesting comment. There's a roaster 40. You said the UAE, I believe, is Islam. Why would they go somewhere that disproves their religion? Well, I mean, if it's nothing more than rock and dirt, as they want everybody to believe, that wouldn't go against it, would it? Tony said, been a life member of the Planetary Society, I'm sorry, but it's hard to keep supporting them when they are obviously hiding stuff from people paying the bills. Yeah. I'm not sure. Is that, what was her name? Emily Wachtalager, I think her name is. I think I'm messing up her, Wachtalager, I think her name was. Is she the one that's on there too, Planetary Society? I'm almost positive she is. Let me know if she is. Yeah, I got a little interesting story about that. Mike L., you said, I know, right? The moon cities are so much fun. I've done lots of on my own. Olin Creel, most of the Planetary Society don't know the truth. It's a social disease for them. Yeah, I mean, well, don't get me wrong. Are they being intentionally left out in the dark, too, like everybody else here? In other words, they're just going by what science tells them. And there's nothing wrong with science. Science is awesome. Love everything about science. You can learn quite a bit from it. But if they're suppressing the truth in the papers, meaning the actual science papers themselves, then they're just going to spout out what they read about what the scientists are putting out, right? So are they being misled like you and I? Having problems with it, Mags? You said, oh my God, don't know what's happening here. Could be a bad signal. On now. Like I said, the way my electricity was kicking back off, I was wondering how it was going to be on at all. But like I said, I can still, if it went out right now, I could still be on for another hour with you guys. Just probably wouldn't be able to, because I wouldn't have this computer. I wouldn't be able to see the other, what do you call it, comments too well on the top monitor unless I brought it down. We'll open it up to they were bigger. But yeah, I'd still be on with another hour with you guys. There you go, Dutch 3D Explorer. He said, whenever NASA posts something on social media, I reply always with a comment that they should tell humanity the truth. I had hoped that more people would do the same. Well, that's true. Tony, Carl Sagan was the first president, but since they elected Nye, I know Bill Nye, right? It's hard to take them seriously. He is not a scientist, but plays one on kids' TV. Yeah, he seems like a puppet to me. Yeah, Olin, he said, Nye is embarrassing. I hear that. I mean, he does have some science background, but whether he's like a true 100% scientist like these guys. But again, is it any of these scientists' fault that they're reading the journals that these scientists are putting out? Now, again, they can leave out all kinds of information. So they're reading, what they're doing, and then they're just regurgitating it to the public. But does it mean that they're wrong and corrupt? No, not necessarily. There could be, like I said, there could be just they're reading whatever they're being handed, then that's pretty much it. Kind of like we did when we were in science. Like I said, we were known that, when I was younger, Mars is a dead, cold, barren planet, okay? And that's what I believed up to the point where I started investigating and researching these photos, and I went, oh, wow. So, yeah. Phil Cox, what's going on? I just noticed. I was just going backtracking here. I just happened to see your name. Good to see you there, man. Hope the family's doing well. He said, hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all okay. We are fine. Phil, I hope you're doing well. And like I said, I hope the family's doing well. Kenneth Proctor, what's going on? You said it would be nice if they could use the lander to drop off the rover, then fly over and pick up the stuck rover and move it to a safe place while giving it a jump start. Well, I mean, yeah, either that go over there and somehow get the dust off the solar panels, right? Look, power's flickering over here. The funny thing about it is that when you see, power's flickering on and off here, guys. Not sure what's going on. We still have ice all over wires and stuff over here, so it wouldn't surprise me if it actually went out. Renee, you were asking, what's that red thing? It says 150 meter high Dubai frame has been lit up in red to mark Hope's arrival, which is that spacecraft from United Emirates, rather. So they probably always have it up, but they just marked it, just went in red just so they can mark that it did actually make it into orbit. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about, let's see, before it was like interrupted by the lights flashing and everything else, which is good. I believe that the rovers never stopped working. Now, I believe one of them got stuck, meaning it did get stuck on a piece of metal. I did a video on that. That was the Spirit rover. And something actually jabbed up through one of the wheels and they got stuck there. They said it got stuck in the dirt. 6-wheel drive, for crying out loud. So unless it's quicksand, I don't know how it could have got stuck. And even the Opportunity rover got stuck at one time, and then you can actually see it pull right out of it. It literally went into really deep dirt to where it literally, the wheels were buried in there, and it still got out. Why didn't the Spirit rover get out? Didn't. But Opportunity did, but yet it had a nasty little windstorm and covered the solar panels, and that was the end of it. So you're telling me that another windstorm couldn't come along and just like blow it off there, and it can start charging again. I don't think that thing ever stopped working. I think they just said, you know what, we're not going to show. It's kind of like not like when you get software on your computer, they go, we're not supporting that anymore. It's kind of like that kind of thing where they go, we're just not going to show the public this thing anymore. Just leave it be. We'll have a group of people keep an eye on that and keep doing its work it needs to do until it finally takes a dump, until it wears out and takes a dump, So I don't believe it ever stopped working. Now, I could be wrong. It could very well have just died right there and never could just take a charge again. And that's the end of it, depending on how long it's been out of charge, you know what I mean? Thank you very much, Disclosure TV, for your support, man. I do appreciate you. He said, Chris, you do amazing work. I hope one day someone gives you a PhD in NASA cover-ups. Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people doing this kind of work. I don't know if they're quite in depth that I am. But I believe there's a lot of people out there. I'm loving the idea that people are really getting into this. You can find it all over Facebook. You can, yourselves, you're doing this. It's just awesome that people are getting into this. And I think it's just like people need to be aware. They need to know what's going on. And the more people that do their own research, the better it is. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Renee, lights flashing means it's ghost. No, I mean, literally, I don't know if you guys heard this thing, but, you didn't see the lights because I don't have my camera on at the moment because I wanted to show you guys these pages. But it was flickering over here, my overhead light. It's basically a LED shop light. But anyway, it's flickering on and off. Then my battery backup clicked on and off. So, and if you notice, there wasn't a hiccup on here. So it was thanks to you guys for your support. This kind of equipment keeps us working, whether the power goes out or not. So kudos to you, everybody, and thank you for your support, and any kind of support. But the monetary is what actually bought that for my bench here, so we can, hell or high water, we can still actually, have a hangout. Tony Gibbs, you said Chinese say they have thousands of pictures but have released 2 maybe, and they were painted just like NASA. Are you talking about for Mars or the moon? Dutch 3D said, I am not sure. I'm not so sure that they got it stuck or that it got stuck. I think they faked it. It was still a few years active. Well, the funny thing about it is, like I said, I believe Spirit did because, like I said, after I enhanced one of the, actually, I think it was the front left wheel, it literally has something literally sticking up through it where they tried to hide it and make it look like it's just all dirt or sand. And it turned out there's actually something crammed into that thing. It's just like if you look at the Curiosity wheels now, it's one thing to have little dents, maybe even some holes, but some of them things are literally tearing the sheet metal off the darn things. And they're only like 60,000. I don't know if it's like, I forget what it was. I don't know if it's even 60,000 thick aluminum. They literally have rips of material in the wheels. It seems like it's running over like things that are sticking out of the sand. And I don't mean rocks. Things that are literally sticking out that's tearing these wheels to hell. And there's so many holes in these wheels now. It just makes you wonder, how is it possible that you can get these kind of holes in the wheels when this thing's literally at a snail's pace? I don't think it's doing 1 mile an hour. And it's literally climbing slowly over these rocks. So how is it possibly getting these rips in these wheels like that? And again, we have to do the calculations. What's the gravity on Mars compared to Earth? Okay, now divide the weight of the rover onto 6 wheels, and then the weight or the gravity on Mars. I came out to like 100 and something pounds. I think it was 100 and, I don't know if it was 130, 170 pounds per wheel. Now, this is supposed to weigh a ton. I believe it's just shy of a ton. But yet, you take away some weight, obviously, for the actual gravitational pull of Mars. Divide that by 6 because it's 6 wheels. How much weight is that on actually each wheel? It came out to like 130 or 170 in between there somewhere. I forget what it was. So, I'm going, okay, so how is this possible? How is this thing getting everything ripped to hell on it? I just don't get it. I do understand it could get repeatedly hit the same spot every time, like it goes over another rock and just happens to hit that spot. I get all that, but these things are getting tears in these wheels. Thumbs up, everyone. MG Toe saying thumbs up. Let's get them bad boys up there. Get them thumbs up. Mags, you said, told you, Chris, it was happening. Here, flickering lights, glitching, and it was like you were ghosted. Strange. It wouldn't even surprise me in the least bit, though, right? Yeah, 6, I actually get that off. Hold on, let me put that back on, because I don't know if I was going to show you guys some more pages here. Put that back on. There you go. Let me see. Kuavu, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He said, let me just turn that off. I don't need that on anyway. Have you ever enhanced any of the pictures of from Alien Hunter? The moon is spooky. Yeah, actually I have. And of course I said, I always give him credit because he does fantastic work. Yeah, I mean, if you see some of the things that are clustered together, it's amazing. And I think it would creep anybody out if you were there. And again, it doesn't even surprise me that the Apollo 11 guys came back just like totally freaked out. It doesn't even surprise me. And it sounds or it looks the way I would look if I came back after seeing that. I definitely would. Just some of the things, the way they're built and they're clustered together, look like these structures and crafts and everything else just laying there. To me, it's no wonder, like I said again, that these guys came back the way they did. Yep, 6. Here I am. Like I said, I just happened to have it off because I was showing you guys these pictures and I didn't want to do any distracting, so to speak. Master Catnip says, I guess you were talking to Mike L. He said the Chinese are not going to show you their fake or their actual images. Kind of like NASA, right? All the governments that have a space program covers everything up like ETs and advanced tech from ETs. Well, absolutely. Lee Herring, he said it must hit some high speed or possibly a slight drop off for the wheels to crack like it has. Yeah, but we're going literally at less than a mile an hour. Let's call it a mile an hour just for argument's sake. So even if you go over a large rock, come back down, you're slowly crawling off this thing, coming up and down. And even if it kind of went off, you're talking about not even a mile an hour. Can you imagine there's a good-sized drop-off and the thing just boom, boom, just literally crawls off of this thing. So what's creating these rips in those wheels? It simply doesn't make sense. Dale Rogers said titanium. And the rocks, I don't know if they were titanium. It seemed to me they were aluminum at the time. And it could be. And the rocks are sharper than they anticipated. Again, I get the sharp rocks, but I mean, there's one tear in that thing. It looks like it's got to be all of 6 or 10 inches like in length. Literally, the material is ripped right up. And like I said, I can understand over a course of time, rocks keep hitting like a same spot, eventually put a hole in it. It makes perfect sense to me. But to have a rip like that in there, it's almost like it got caught on something and had to back off and rip the wheel. Because even though whether it's aluminum, titanium, it doesn't really matter because titanium is pretty strong, right? So, but to rip that, what would it take to rip that material? Tony Gibbs, you said, Chris, I was looking at a few of your moon pics today. Can rewatch them anytime. Excellent work. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, I want to do more of those too because it's like, I was actually, like I said, didn't have really the great week. I'm basically working on my own at work. And so I wanted to get this other video out. I do have one coming out. I'm going to try to put it up today if I can this evening. If not, it'll be out tomorrow afternoon, the latest. So keep an eye on that. And that's another one. There's something crazy, another crazy thing in Antarctica. And the main topic is one thing, but then you got, the other things that are in the photo that are in the background. Crazy, crazy photos. Really cool, too. You guys haven't seen this yet. So, but you will. Max K, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. You guys are awesome anyway, any kind of support. You guys are awesome. Robert Morgan, yeah, good question. Rip or cut? And that's what it is. It's like it's literally the steel is just ripped. I mean, it's just like pulled up. I don't know. Like I said, I mean, over a course of time, it's like a barrel. Picture just a barrel, like a 55-gallon drum, and make it only, like, I forget how it is. I think it's like 60 thousandths tops as far as thickness. And, just keep rolling over rocks. And eventually it's going to keep hitting that one spot, and eventually it's going to put a hole in it. Makes sense. But to take the material and just rip it back, I don't know. It's almost like, picture like a piece of steel just jabbing into the wheel. It just kind of goes over. But even then, what kind of pressure would that take to literally go into the wheel? Like, in other words, the wheel rolling into it and all of a sudden rip. What kind of pressure would it take to do that? I don't know. It's, just picture something going, not even a mile an hour, and it's got ripped wheels like that. I don't know. Cameron Davis, what's going on? He said, how are you tonight? I'm doing fine. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you in there. Lee Herring said, hey guys, what do you think about Jean Ward? Photos, they are very interesting, like something is setting up a code. Well, I mean, he does fantastic work anyway, because I love the idea that we do like ground photos. He's doing a lot of satellite. Just about all his stuff is satellite, right? And it just has these unusual formations. Some of them megalithic blocks. Some of them just look like just giant boulders, but there's always these things on top. Like, you might say, well, they're just rocks. And I would agree with that at some point. But then there's like, some of them, like I said, there was like, look like chimneys, like 6 of them lined up on one of them. I'm going, what are the chances of that? And you can see the shadows being cast from these things. I'm going, what are the chances of 6 of those things happen to look like a simple chimney, and there's 6 of them in a row? So, well, there's 3 and then 3. What's the chances of that? I say slim and none. And it's just about all of these flat rocks or these boulders that he finds, they seem to have something always on top, like either maybe another place boulder. And you say, okay, that's normal to me. But every one he finds just happens to have 1 or 2 of these things on top, and some of them have just really unique looking shapes. It does fantastic work. Now, I don't know if that was just a recent one, a recent video you talked about, Lee, where you said something is setting up a code. I'm not sure. Is that like at least one of his last videos that he's saying something along a code type thing? Tony, you said the coal would have an effect eventually, making it brittle, but they probably thought of that, rather. Yeah, it's like any other metal. If you've ever worked I worked in a machine shop for 13 years. They have what they call Rockwell, and Rockwell is basically they put it in an oven, and they make it to the hardness that they want. So they probably anticipated the very cold and the very hot. Now, don't get me wrong, that can make it brittle, because you got cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot. Eventually, it may crack. It may do that. And that would probably justify some of these. But, man, some of these things, man, like I said, holes are one thing. I get that. But, man, some of these things look like they've been ripped, like it got stuck on something. It had to pull itself off and just put a good-sized rip or tear into this wheel. Olin Crail, you said, yeah, Jean Ward does great work indeed, though it drives me crazy. It drives me insane, rather. What are those things? Yeah, I mean, you just don't know. I mean, just the way they're laid out. So is it possible they lived in like these stone buildings or structures like they do? Like it looks like they're building into these hillsides. I don't know. Rock is a perfect insulator. Being underground, perfect insulator. I mean, keeps you out of radiation, keeps you out of the heat, and it's durable as heck. I don't know. What do you guys think? William McNamara, you said, I've come to really realize, every story, myth, legend, conspiracy, every human leads back to extraterrestrials. Oh my, this is huge. Well, I mean, if you go back to ancient civilizations or you read them, that talks about their gods that come down from the heavens. Some of them talking about taking these people from the ground to the firmament, meaning above earth, getting to know the people on the craft, all kinds of just crazy stuff. So, and I've always questioned, I said, so did they have like sci-fi writers back, in ancient times? Or is it something that they felt compelled to write about? Or etched into a rock? Or whatever it might, pictographs, whatever it may be. They felt compelled to write about these things because that's what they saw. It's not like we have so many things to entertain us today. They didn't have any of that back then. We have a bunch of stuff to entertain us, whether it's watching movies, regular TV, playing video games. They just sat around looking at the skies. So if any of these events happen, this is exciting to them. So they're going to be compelled to write about it, no matter what it is. Mike Gale, he said, just like the southern Native Americans, their cliffs are stunning and frighteningly effective. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly, Pete. He said Area 51 built into mountains, so why not on Mars? I mean, they got a lot of these deep underground, military bases, the DUMBs as they call them. They're built into these, into the ground. And like I said, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that video. I mentioned this before where there was a guy that says, these tunnels, they literally travel for miles, state to state. So he was next to one of these DUMBs, and he asked one of the truck drivers. He was able to ask one of them. He says, well, where are you driving anyway? He goes, oh, we drive for miles underground. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. We just transport underground. So even if the top of the surface was like, let's say there was a bombing and stuff like that or whatever, they could literally travel underground, pick up or drop off supplies or whatever. Now, some of these places are, in fact, like a redistribution center for a lot of these huge manufacturers and stuff like that. But why underground? What's the point of that? And some of them are like large cities underground where they say, oh, yeah, we stop. There's restaurants under there. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And I'll tell you what, just look that up. I mean, the guy's literally, oh, yeah. He said, I'll travel all night long underground. All night long? These guys, even if you're from dusk to dawn, you're talking 12 hours is just driving underground. How far is that going to take you? 12 hours? Heck, in 16, I could drive, 750 miles. So even if he's driving 500 miles underground, what? Cameron, you said, I think ETs are real. Our government doesn't want us to know about them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. I guess they just feel people would freak out about it. I don't know. I can never understand the logic to that either. If they just had come out way back in the day and said, oh, wow, there's some kind of, so there must be other people out there. So in other words, you see spacecraft, he goes, yeah, so clearly there's other people out there. People would have went, ooh. Of course, they would have been a little nervous about it and say, okay, are they, so you have to think back in the day. See, like I said before, we're desensitized. We've seen a lot of movies. Now, if you've seen Independence Day, you'd probably go, oh, wow, there's a spacecraft out there. Is it like that? And people would freak out, right? But to me, it's just like, if they had said it right back in the day, said, no, we don't believe that they're, just put everybody's mind at rest. No, they're not hostile because they would have killed us a long time ago. I don't believe that's the case. I believe we'll be fine. Blah, 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 blah. Don't worry, we're investigating it. Put everybody's mind at rest and stuff like that. And I think it would have been fine if they had just been truthful with the public to begin with. I think it would have been fine. I think a lot of people probably would have freaked out, though. Let's be honest. If you're like us, we want more knowledge. We want to see more. So, yeah. But, I mean, some people are just probably freaked out because they never looked into any of this. So they probably would go, okay, I never knew anything about the moon or anything on it. Never knew about Mars, anything on it. So I'm freaked. Let's be honest, right? James, thank you very much for your support, brother. He said, Chris, what is amazing to me is that everything that is written in stone is myth, but everything that is written in paper with ink is true. Yeah, right. Yeah, and I agree. It's funny how that works, right? I would rather believe a lot of the ancient civilizations before I believe a lot of the crap we have today. I mean, in fact, there's when they talked about Nibiru being the 10th planet, now they're saying, well, now they believe there's a 9th planet there because remember they demoted Pluto from just a rock now as opposed to a planet. So now it's considered the 9th planet. They said, a while back they said something about it's like Planet X. Wait a minute. What do you mean Planet X? So is it the planet that they talk about in the ancient times or is it something else? Really weird, right? So I'd believe them before I believed a lot of crap that we read today. Tony, you said underground is a leftover of the Cold War protection from atomic blast. Well, yeah, back then when you had fallout shelters and stuff like that, and some underground, we'll call them underground bases. But now these things run literally I heard from West Coast to East Coast underground. Picture that. That's crazy. And, you always hear stories about how underneath the White House there's different ways to get in and out of there. And it's like military base. They can go anywhere in the United States without anybody knowing about it. You'd never know it. Unless, of course, you had ground penetrating radar and you knew where maybe one of these tunnels are. You could literally just put it there and see cars traveling underneath you or see signal something's traveling underneath you. Leslie said, I've known about ET all my life, and they are not hostile, or not warlike rather, but some are, but not who I saw, LOL. True, so glad I'm out of the closet at last. But, I don't believe, and I've said this myself, I don't believe that they are either, because we would have been dead a long time ago. I mean, let's be truthful. If they literally had the power and the technology, they could eliminate this planet or everything on it with ease. They probably wouldn't want to waste a planet because it's basically real estate. But, if they didn't if they didn't like what's living on here, they would have annihilated it a long time ago. And they haven't. That's why I don't believe that they would be hostile. They're probably above all that. And they don't see us as a threat. Maybe to ourselves on this planet, but not to outer space. They don't see us as a threat. Pete, you said scientists are scared. Not telling us of our lost past is proof of that. Or they're just afraid of, being scrutinized and being ridiculed by their peers. And that's why they don't care. Long Island, New York, he said he lied about the translation. What are we talking about? Is there a particular person you're talking about? Oh, you're talking about Zechariah. Okay. He said, I think ancient civilizations were visited by aliens and maybe even Sumerian, but Zechariah Sitchin made a bunch of stuff up, unfortunately. Even the Sumerian diagrams he says shows off views are debunked. See, I don't know about all that because I've seen more than one person actually dissect these. Even Billy talks about this, my buddy Billy Carson, where he gets into all this. He says he wasn't lying. They're trying to debunk him for a reason. They don't want this actual information out. So what's the best way to do that? Make the person look like a fraud. Therefore, you'll stop believing in any of it. So that's what it comes down to. And he wasn't the first one to actually, translate those scribes and everything else. He wasn't the first one to do that. There's people long before Zechariah ever came along that actually translated those, all of those, what do you call it? You can call them anything you want, the tablets and stuff like that, and different writings and stuff. But he wasn't the first one to actually dissect them. I call him dissect them because he's basically breaking them down, right? So, even if you were to believe Zechariah was trash, which I don't believe he was, it wouldn't matter because he wasn't the first one, and they also claimed the same thing prior to even him saying it. So, I don't know. To me, it seems like if you can go back, the farthest you can go back, the further you can go back, the more you'll have somebody who can possibly translate it even easier. See, as you go along, as the years go by, it gets lost literally, forget the pun, in translation. Nobody can actually translate anymore because all the people that could either speak or decipher the language has now died off. But the further you go back, the better you are. And these people from like 1600, 1800 that were actually, basically translating these in tablets and stuff. Yeah, happy Valentine's to you as well, Max K. There's a rose for you. This is not a gentle hint, guys. And do it. Yeah, I mean, you gotta hook up the old lady. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take her out, stuff like that. Oh yeah, show the love. Leslie Warren, you said I believe in archaeology and ancient text. In every myth, they're factual truth, Chris. I've seen it with my own eyes. Yeah, I mean, I've seen there's a lot of stuff that is, like Angkor Wat's. When you look at Angkor Wat's, where they showed that they had a stegosaurus on, it was carved into it. If these people did not live with dinosaurs, how do they know about them? Was it actually, handed down from other ancient people? So at some point, these people lived with dinosaurs. Now, I don't know if they did. This was in Cambodia. If they did, again, these was handed down to these people, but they had them literally, just basically in stone. I mean, what else can you say? So it was carved in stone. They had like all different kinds of these depictions and stuff. It just really makes you wonder. Master Catnip. The Earth is a ghetto and prison to most alien races. Andromedans said so. Glenn Judd, you said, haven't been hostile for 70 years of what I know. Yeah, like I said, if that was the case, they would have done this a long time ago. Think about it. If you had the technology and you could literally eliminate us either with some kind of virus, and I mean something really that would kill everybody on the planet, or, whatever it may be. I mean, you could have done it with ease. They could have done it with ease a long time ago, right? Martin Penwright, you said, I've heard that there are underground tunnels going from Scotland to Turkey. Huh. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much all over the world. Cameron, you said, have a good night. Sorry I came late. Have a safe weekend and stay warm. You do the same, Cameron. I'm glad you were here. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for your support and of course, being here. That supports the channel. And, yeah, have a good weekend yourself. Just be safe there, right? Pete, you said, Carson, translate the tabs, found them accurate. Yeah. I mean, again, you can't just gather information just from one person because then you could fail, right? So if you grab it from a lot of sources and then put it together and say, okay, this seems to be the consensus, this seems more accurate. Now, there may be points that Zachariah wasn't completely spot on. Maybe a lot of these guys were. But if you can gather most of them, you say, okay, these are they do agree on all of these, but maybe a couple of these they don't. Well, then you can pretty much, put it together and say, okay, so a lot of this was actually true. And then some of the points and some of these people try to convey to people are just a little off. So what? Doesn't make it all false or not true, right? Elaine Millard, you said the hotter mainstreams tried to silence someone or something, and the more derogatory names they use and discrediting they do, the more likely it's true. Yeah, because they're trying as much as they can to kind of like suppress the people, right? But on the other side of the token, if you tried to take these people and try to make them look like complete idiots, then people go, I don't believe a thing this guy says. So the information could die right then and there. And that's why I say to look at, more than one source. It's better to do that, right? Claudia with a chance of UFOs. What's going on? You said, evening, Chris, in chat. How goes it? Am I late? Just a tad. Yeah, because we'll actually be signing off pretty soon. But I'm glad you got in there, man. You can see we've been having a good conversation. 6, he said, hey, I got to fly. Peace and love to you all. All right, 6, good to see you in there. Keep up the good work there. And we'll talk to you soon there, right? Have a good weekend. James, thanks again for your support, man. You said, what's true is hidden. What's lies is all around us. Yep, that's true. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, there we go. All right. Thanks, James. Appreciate you. Let me see. Claudia with a chance of UFO says, I'll be watching the replay afterwards. And guys, like I said, either I don't know if it'll be this weekend. This weekend, I'll be all right. This evening, but maybe tomorrow afternoon. Look for the new video coming out. Like I said, it should have been out Wednesday, but because it's been this whole weekend, well, at least half of it to this point has been hectic, and I don't know if my other co-workers will be in even tomorrow. I'm just hoping, but whatever. I just go in there and rock it and get it done. So, yeah, doesn't really matter to me. But, I'll have that out, probably tomorrow afternoon. So look for it. And like I said, guys, if you've got nothing better to do, check out Sarah's site. She's doing a really good job with this. Really, really good stuff's coming out. Just really, really cool stuff. And she's going out of her way to really bring this stuff out to the people, the stuff that's being censored, and I mean right down here on Earth. And, of course, she's keeping the Antarctica on there. And, we do our part to get it out if we can. And you guys have done the same where you said, hey, you guys got to check this out. And you're trying to spread this stuff out. So, check it out. The site is more interesting now. She's putting up more topics, really good stuff, and the stuff that's being either A, you haven't heard of, or B, that's being hidden from us, period, and that's why you haven't heard of it. So definitely check it out. Check out her site. You'll get the link at the bottom at sarahmichelle.org, and just check it out. It's really, really good stuff. And, like I said, she's done a great job on this, and she took a lot on when she did this this particular site. Really, really cool. 2 years of isolation, uncertainty mark another year of, what do you call it? No forward progress. Unreal. So, yeah. Yeah, really, really cool stuff. And, of course, she's just showing the, what's on the site and everything else and talks about different things. So, yeah, check it out. Like I said, I know you guys have already been checking it out because she's told me, like, a lot of people have been on there, which is awesome. And she's trying to really, really bring out a lot of the truth stuff so people can be more aware of what's going on in the world, not just here, but in Canada and, abroad and stuff like that. So, she, like I said, she's took on a lot. I was thinking at first, she's like, she bit off more than she can chew, but she's doing a really fantastic job with this site, and kudos for her to doing that because keeping Sarah's work alive, which is awesome. And, I can't say it enough. She's a good person. Love her for what she's doing. So it's just great that she's doing a lot of this. Boysenberry Dracula, what's going on, man? Haven't even seen you get in there. Cheers for presenting photos with great analysis, Chris. Well, I appreciate that. Claudia with a chance at UFOs said, Sarah's work is exceptional. Thanks to Julia Galli for all the work to keep getting it out there. Big love. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can't say it enough. I've told her myself through emails. We contact each other quite a bit. It's like almost every day we're talking. So, we got all this stuff coming up. And, in fact, I was supposed to get back to her. I've got, it's going to be like this article on, basically a Q&A with me. So I got to get that out. I totally forgot. I've been so darn busy this week. It just reminded me when I said that. So, yeah. You can see how far behind I am, guys. Unreal. Unbelievable. Tony, you said Texas had over 100 cars and trucks slam into each other on an ice-covered road. Watched them live. Couldn't they have stationed a cop a mile down the road, maybe after the... first 40 or 50. Well, I know. This stuff happens, but it's instantly sometimes. Car spins out, boom, hits a wall. Next thing you know, another one piles into it, and it just builds up from there. Yeah. Phil C., you said your question was, do your coworkers watch the channel? What do they say about all the stuff, the Mars stuff? No, they don't watch the channel, but I do. I have talked about it to some of them guys, and not just my coworkers, but other coworkers from other departments. And some of them have that weird kind of glazed look over their face because they'd rather watch the Kardashians. And then some of them are like, oh, wow, I've been reading about that, or I watched it on the History Channel and something like that. So they have like a little bit of knowledge of it, which is cool. But like I said, just talk to some of your friends about it. They'll look like, when you start talking about like, yeah, wow, really? And all of a sudden they just go, I got like saliva hanging off their face and everything. It's like, they couldn't be bothered, they just, like I said, rather be watching the Kardashians or something. Max K, your question was, have you seen the Cores, Chris? Not live, but I know who they are, the group. Really, really good. Now, did they do something like on their own, Mags? You said something about that in, Sarah's work, the Antarctica. Did they do something on their own? Like, for Sarah, or was that something you saw because of Alien Hunter did that with the Cores? It had the music in the background and had like a little tribute to her. Dave Andrews, you said the more someone is being discredited, probably they are onto something. Well, yeah, that's no doubt about that. Oh, yeah, Mike Gale, you said this is fun. I'll be tuning in more often. Antarctica is crazy interesting. Yeah, wait till you see this one. This is cool. And like I said, it wasn't so much because somebody suggested to me, say, hey, Chris, do me a favor. Look at this link for me. Tell me what you say. And look at the background or look at the rocks. It looks like there was like writing and stuff like that. I didn't think that was as interesting as what I found after the major thing that was suggested me to look, for me to look at. But it was what's in the background that had me thinking, like, wow, this is cool. So when you guys see this is neat. I don't like the way it's kind of like the Mars photos, right? Where they sometimes they look like the kind of fuzzy, grainy look. So I'm not really thrilled about that, but I try to do my best to not focus in too much, or, just so guys can use your magnifiers on it and stuff like that, so we can get a better aspect. And then I do zoom in to try to get, if you're on a smaller tablet or a phone, and maybe it'll, you know what I mean? Just try to give it, whether you're on a big computer or a small one, screen rather, you can get a different perspective, because I could zoom way in and then I keep it way out. So, because if I put it on my large screen, my HD screen, sometimes it'll be like so fuzzy, but on a smaller screen, it might look okay. So we try to do both so people could see it either way. Nevin Resnick, you said, hey, I've been watching for a year now. Really love what you do. Well, I appreciate that, Nevin. I do appreciate that. Tony Gibbs says, good night all. Support Julia in her efforts to keep Sarah's work going. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, just jump on her site and check her out. Like I said, I love what she's done here, because, again, she's trying to make it more of a truth site than it is a, just a fashion site. Although there is some stuff, because that's how this site was started, right, from Sarah. That's how this actually started out. And then she decided to start getting into this and showing this stuff and talking about, because she had the moon stuff, and we did a moon video on her work before her passing. And it was imperative that we got it out. I wanted to get it out for her. And it definitely made her extremely happy, which made me happy. And then the fact that she was, before her passing, that, we got out the Antarctica. So that was cool to do that. And but she didn't see the actual, where we had done the, scrolling. I think she just before that time, she had seen that. And that was cool, because, I think if you don't want to sit there and kind of like scroll through the page, oh my God, wait a minute, hold on. So this is kind of like you can kick back on a bigger screen and just read the thing and see the pictures and everything else. You don't have to, well, did I miss something on here? Did I got to keep switching page to page or whatever? So it was kind of cool to just do that. And it can be passed, and you can download the video and just keep it in your archives or whatever, and it's nice to have. Leslie said, yes, I agree. Sarah's work lives on. It's a world's heritage for all of us. I missed her, Chris. Yeah, I mean, like I said, she was a great person, and, you hate to see somebody and she had a brilliant mind for her age. I mean, really brilliant mind. And it's who she knew, too. That's what made the difference. And this is how she was able to get some of these photos. Some of them you could get off the internet, but some of them, not so much. And like I said, unfortunately, they gave her the photos, but those have been touched up. Like I said, the Antarctica one, what's really there. It just goes to show you the stuff that's there. Yeah, it's being touched up. And I said, wow, what are the chances of them touching up the Antarctica photos like they do at Mars and the moon? Well, guess what? The people who are taking these photos work for NASA. Imagine that. So, can't be, right? But yeah, that explains it. It explains it all. And it's too bad they even, they gave her that and they still lied to her. That's sad. So I'm glad she brought that out. Then that's why I was thrilled to actually get that information out. How these are they're being dressed up as hills and mountains when there's clearly things in these mountains. And they're not mountains. They're being dressed to look like hills and mountains, right? Oh, it is. Now, you said they did that themselves, Mags? You said, yeah, Chris, a little wing is their single. Oh, okay. And the video is the thesis. Oh, okay. That's the one that Alien Hunter did then. Or am I wrong? That's a great question, Robert. And he said, why is that? The good always die young. I hear you. Yeah, Anita M. Yeah, you said you could play the video, but it might get you copyrighted. Well, I mean, like I said, I could play my own. It doesn't really matter. It's my own video. But the thing is, it's like 3 hours long. So basically, and then people go, wow, one person was saying, they were kind of rude about it. They were like, oh my God, this damn thing's so long. Well, what would you do? How long would it take to actually read a whole book? I mean, think about it. Unless you're a speed reader. So how long would it take you to do that? So to me, clearly, I would rather watch that, just kick back, just in the recliner, just watching it. And the cool thing about it is on YouTube, you can speed it up. And the music still sounds good. Or just mute it and put your own music on. So either way, you can slow it down, speed it up, if you're a speed reader, that is. So yeah, I mean, it's, you can actually work with it, right? I don't know. That's a great question, William. He said, do you think we will see a spacecraft out in the open within our lifetimes, Chris? I don't know. That's a great question. A lot of people have already seen them. I think I've seen one back in the day when I was younger. Both me and a good friend of mine, there was a tower in the middle of our city, and it was like these like blue and red lights taking off from the top of this tower, which is quite tall. And there's no way to get up there unless you walk up it. So really interesting. A lot of people have seen them around the world, including a few people here who've seen them. So they're there. But I think it's going to take like large UFO to just land on like every capital of the world, just land and say, by the way, we're here and we're real. James Cragen, you said, Chris, I watched it 3 times and it wasn't long to me. Well, I mean, like I said, if you're just kicking back, like what do you, a real long movie on Netflix or whatever you watch, let's say it's 2 hours long. If it's something that interests you, I wouldn't care. I'd just be like, whatever. You're sitting there just looking at it instead of reading a book. I'm not a big fan of reading books. I will read them, but just to see it on the screen and it's just scrolling, it's awesome. That's why I decided to do that. And like I said, this is just before her passing, so it's cool to be able to do that. Nothing like a good dry throat. Clark's 93. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Anyone hear about the Naka Cave snake? Look it up. Never heard of it. Yeah, Robert, believe it or not, there are. You said Antarctica anomalies now? Oy vey. Oh, absolutely. If you go to like her site, like I said, and you look this stuff up, you will see and it's not even, they're literally plain as sight. You can see them in the background. Of course, you'd have to go through the whole thing here, and I don't feel like doing that. But really, really cool. You got to see it. And some of them, I helped her actually enhance one of these photos in the back. She shows what looks like a wall around this island. And you can see these very, very large structures in this area, right around or inside this, what looks like a walled area. It looks like parts of the wall is knocked down. But it's there. These things are absolutely there. So it's not an anomaly. It's an actual structures. And just some crazy things there. I know at first people are going, really? In Antarctica now too? No, absolutely they're there. I mean, so if they're trying to suppress our past, and these things have been there, and it doesn't surprise me that they're structures. Let's say they're just human-made. The point is, if they're in Antarctica, keep in mind, it was not all ice at one point. Before the Ice Age, it was green and lush. I even showed a video where there was some geologists who went there. Is that my voice? So when they went there, they did core samples and everything else. Now they went through the ice, and you can see the core shows the ice. Then there's like a muddy area, and then below that there's all kinds of organics. So clearly, and they said it was like a green, lush, like almost like an Amazon jungle kind of thing. So it makes perfect sense we'd even build there. Why not? It's like any other continent in the world. Why not build it? So it's not a secret that there could be a structure there, or many. The question is, what kind of structure? These things do not look like old, lean-tos or something like that. These look like actual, intelligently made, really big structures too. So yeah, you got to look at that. Look this stuff up. In fact, like I said, I did a couple videos on it. You can look on Antarctica. What's really there is what I put on there. I mean, what just says, cool evening here. Interesting, thanks. Mike L., good for you, man. You said, Chris got me started doing my own work on images, and I've been at it now for a year or so now. I truly enjoy it because my mind and imagination are from childhood, are being awakened and validated. Well, I mean, at some point, you might think, it's all a bunch of crap. It's not real. Until you really start to get into these things, you go, wait a minute. Now you're seeing it for yourself. Nobody's telling you about it, and you're finding it out yourself. That's when you start going, whoa, hold on. So maybe these people aren't lying about this after all, because I'm seeing it with my own eyes, and that's the key. Okay, Mags, you said, yeah, Chris, it was beautiful. Yeah, if that's what an Alien Hunter did, yeah, you had their music playing. I'm aware of the video, too, and the song, before he even made the video. Chords actually they got a lot of good music. And, for him to do that, and to show Antarctica different photos, that was pretty cool. Yep. Everybody hit the thumbs up before we take off. I'm going to jump off of this myself, guys. You guys are awesome, as I always say. Thank you for the support. You guys are fantastic. Any kind of support is good support on this channel. It helps, and if it's monetarily, it just helps us get better gear. In fact, we'll be upgrading this computer with with more RAM, I should say. We're going to try to go, I think it's only like 16 gig on there. We're going to try to, jump it up to at least 64 or more. I think it's 128 gigs. For maximum. So we're definitely going to improve it here a little bit. You get a bunch of things working on this computer. What happens? It'll slow it down, just like any other computer. I mean, you can have a ton of stuff open and slow it down, so not a good thing. But nevertheless, it's great support. You guys are awesome. Just a great bunch of people. Couldn't ask for anything more. I know there's a couple new people are in there. Thanks for jumping on board. I hope you subscribed and hit that little bell in there. You get the latest, videos and stuff like that. And like I said, it's just cool to have, like I said, I initially started this because I wanted to see how many like-minded people were like me. And then more and more people started to jump on this. And I'm like, wow, this is just awesome. I didn't realize. And there's a lot more of us out there. I know there are. So I know some people said, oh, yeah, I had a friend of mine get on here. Now they're into it too. So, it's like a, what's the word I want to use? It's something from the ordinary, which is cool. And it doesn't have to be fantasy. It's actually real. This is what we're finding. This is the stuff that's here, whether it's on our own planet, whether it's on the moon, Mars, and anywhere else that they're going. So I love the idea of the missions. I love all that good stuff. So it's just cool. I will say happy Valentine's Day to all the women out there and all the men that's out there. Hook up the old ladies. You know what I'm saying? I've never been a big fan with jewelry. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But, you know, when you love your own spouse, it's like you really don't have to do that. It's not like you go, I got to buy this so I can prove it to her, you know, or vice versa. The women don't have to do that for the men. But I think just chilling, hanging out with each other, going out for a good meal, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? It's more down to earth, and it's not like my buddy does this all the time. He buys like 1,000 pieces of chocolate and all kinds of stuff, and these teddy bears. Nothing wrong with little stuffed animals and stuff either, but I'm saying, so you're trying to get your wife fat. What's the deal here? So there's nothing wrong with like a little box of chocolate, a little stuffed animal. Take her out to eat and all kinds of other good stuff and spend some quality time. That's awesome. But yeah, so happy Valentine's Day to all of the women out there. You guys rock, because you're just as important as anybody else out there, especially doing this anomaly hunting. It's just great to be able to see that. So that's just great. Anyway, guys, I'm going to jump off. Like I said, everybody have a good day, a good weekend coming up. Be safe. And like I said, watch for the new video coming up. Like I said, it'll probably be on tomorrow afternoon, early afternoon. So just look for that. Between afternoon and evening, you'll see it on there. I'm going to have that up. And I would have liked to have gotten that out sooner, but you know how that goes. And like I said, you want more information, jump over to, sarahmichelle.org. Check her stuff out. Got newer stuff coming up. She's going to try to change it up all the time. And it's just great that she's doing that. So we're getting information from everybody there, right? It's just cool to be able to do that. Oh, this thing's freaking out on me. It's cool to be able to get this stuff out. And I can see the computer's acting stupid here. I don't know what's going on here. But so she's doing more and more information on this. She's doing more truth stuff out there, which I think is great. So just jump on there, check out the views in there. Just keep an eye on the page. There'll always be something new up there. But new video coming out. Like I said, big thanks to, I'm going to draw a blank now. I forget what his name was. Got to actually suggest to me. But Cliff High is the person I'm actually talking about. I forget the other guy. I think it was John. I could be wrong. Either way, doesn't matter. I had him written down. I actually say it in the video anyway. Cliff High, there's a lot of people that jumped off his channel onto mine, or actually jumped onto mine because of his suggestion to watch mine channel. So, like I said, I'll give you a link to it. It'll be in there. Probably I'm going to try to get them on tonight. If not, it'll be tomorrow as well. All the links will be in there. So check it out. Anyway, guys, have yourself all a great weekend. You guys are awesome. You guys rock. Much love to every one of you guys, and we'll see you soon. I'll leave it on here for, another 10 minutes. You guys can chat it up a little bit, so about 8:40 my time. And I'm going to just shut down the feed. So everybody, have a great evening. We'll talk to you soon, guys. Peace.